How you going?
Just kidding. We knew we were back on. Anyway. Men's D800. And thanks for that technical glitch that we've all had to suffer through for the last half hour. But we are back. We have 7 800-metre races and a number of 1,500-metre events to go for the remaining 2.5 hours of the program here at Duncan MacKinnon Reserve, Mitch.
Yeah, well, look, yes, you would all know that we obviously weren't here. But, look, we're back now, and that's the most important thing. So on the line now is our men's D800 metres. From the Swagger, Bradley Hall with hip number 1. Number 2, Mitchell Wilson from Collingwood. Number 3, Benjamin Stevens, Eureka. Number 4, Samuel Lowe, Collingwood. Number 5, Patrick Stewart, Essendon. Number 6, Raymond Jansen, Athletics, Waverley. Number 7, Hugh Ollerenshaw from Windaree. Number 8, Sebastian Farrelly of Mornington Peninsula. Number 9, Julian Horsey of Sandringham. And number 10, Hopper Fagan, unattached. And these boys are going to get moving. Sure. I believe that is going to be Samuel Lowe.
From Collingwood, but he's chosen the all-black kit rather than he's skipping any whites in the Collingwood uniform.
I reckon Mitch Wilson's done the same. Raymond Jansen now getting on the outside, and they've slowed up. So they've all just hit the brakes on low, and they've said, "Look, we're just going to run this as a pack race. It's almost championship racing right now, but they're going to let Samuel Lowe do it early in the all-black kit." And Raymond Jansen nicely on the outside there, Mick.
Bit of a tactical affair here at the Milers Club. Usually running for times, but this might be the best way they can get a fast time tonight, or just hiding in the pack, biding their time as they round the bend. 500 metres to go.
Yeah, watch out for Mitch Wilson now. He has won here at the Vic Milers Club, and watch him now. I think he's just heard me here, Mitchy Wilson. So Mitch Wilson says enough of this. It's time for man's play, and you're all boys in a man's world. So right now, Mitchy Wilson gets around. Raymond Jansen still behind him there. Hopper Fagan now. He's going to be the one to start to make a move on the outside of that back pack, but it is going to be Mitchell Wilson, Samuel Lowe, both of Collingwood. Mitch Wilson at 300 metres extends away now.
Raymond Jansen. Patrick Stewart as well from Essendon. He's sitting in 4th. He's making his way up to 3rd position, going on the shoulder of Jansen. He's one to watch over this final 250 metres, but he's still low in front. 200 metres to go. Still bridging that same gap of a few metres. And a bit of a trip. Bradley Hall out the back there. But check out
Mitch Wilson.
Mitch Wilson, he is extending his lead ahead of Samuel Lowe. The athlete from Essendon, and Patrick Stewart is hanging on. Raymond Jansen, he's been there all race, but he's not going to get there in time. It is going to be Mitchell Wilson who takes out this men's D 800 metres from Samuel Lowe, Raymond Jansen and Patrick Stewart. Hopper Fagan as well. I didn't mention him all race, but he came through for a strong 5th position there.
Whew. I think Mitchy Wilson just went under 2 minutes.
He would have been pretty damn close. Seb Farrelly right in the mix as well. One of the youngest athletes in this field.
A huge stack from our Swagger athlete as well. So I'm not sure if there were a few hands being thrown around with 200 metres to go, but unfortunately he was the victim of it. But great racing here.
And that is racing. If there's a couple of stacks on a night of athletics racing,
you know, I don't know.
I don't know what to make of that. I don't know if you can call it a good night, but
you know, it's a serious.
It's a night of race. It's a serious night. It is a night of racing. We ain't time trialling. We're racing.
I just want to say a massive shout out to the Carlton Football Club.
If you're listening,
if you are listening,
straight from the G,
stop listening and please focus at the G. But don't worry about the AFL because the real spectacle is happening here at Duncan MacKinnon Reserve.
I'm going to have a go at these names, Mitch.
Here we go. Yeah, you go.
In lane 1, Chloe Johnstone from Nunawading as she makes her way to the blocks if it was a 400 metres. In lane 2, Kiara Losty from Glen Huntley. Lane 3, Cassidy Bradshaw from Chilwell. Lane 4, Sophie Coltish from Geelong Guild. Lane 5, Stephanie Mundy from Wendouree. Lane 6, Anna Casapes from Essendon, a regular name here at Milers Club. Lane 7, Janae Mackerel from Western Athletics, the mighty Western Athletics. Lane 8, Kiralee Turver from Mornington Peninsula. Lane 9, Alicia Buckland from Ballarat YCW. And lane 10, Orla Shackloth from Sandringham. So will it be the home track hero, Kiara Losty? Should be familiar with the bends here at Duncan MacKinnon Reserve, Mitch.
Yeah, well, they are a bit vicious here at Duncan MacKinnon Reserve, so I think Losty may have the upper hand over the rest of the field.
Would have done more laps around Duncan MacKinnon Reserve than anyone else in the field.
Geez, I would hope so. Or they're travelling a hell of a way to come and get some practice done. So.
I wouldn't have expected the athletes from Geelong or Ballarat, as Chloe Johnstone from Athletics Nunawading is almost first. It's a race of about 3 or 4 out the front there as they settle in. And it might be, well, we could say it's a bit of a tactical affair out the front. Only a few seconds separating the seeding times from 2:17 to 2:20. The athletes, that's the time they'll be chasing. Anna Kaspers from Essendon does seem to be in the front of the field right now, followed by, could be Cassidy Bradshaw of Chilwell in second position. But they are all bunched with 500 metres to go.
Yeah, well, good luck picking it. We're going to have to wait as they come past us. But I believe that is Anna Kaspers of Essendon. So she's going to lead them out 5 metres ahead. And the one behind her there is Sophie Coltish. So Coltish on her outside there is Stephanie Mundy. So Mundy on the inside, Kiara Losty. So she's going to know this
hero.
bend.
She knows those bends, Mitch.
Yeah, she knows what it's like to run wide. So Losty happy to stay on the inside, but it is going to be Anna Kaspers. Well, she had about 5 metres, Mick, down the straight. We head to the back straight, and she's going to put it into about 10-15.
Absolutely.
So we've had a fall around the bend here as well. These bends are absolutely claiming ankles right now.
He said
it is Kobe Bryant in 2008.
Tonight of racing. It's not a night of time trials here at Duncan MacKinnon. As Kaspers, we said she was a regular Milers Club athlete. She knows how to race these seeded events, and she has taken 30 metres on all of her competitors, 200 metres to go. She is heading around a PB time of 2:17 right now.
Well, Mick, Kiara Losty, she's going to get moving now. She's ready.
She knows those bends, Mitch. She knows those bends.
So Kaspers, she's let it out. Losty going to try and lead this second pack around to her. And as we see, our athletes now come around the outside of Losty. It is still going to be Kaspers. So Kaspers going to take it out. Oh, we might have something close to the line here. Cassidy Bradshaw. No, Kaspers takes it. Bradshaw, then Losty. On the outside there from the mighty Western A's is Janae Mackerel. And wow. I thought Losty was going to do it. I thought you would have to call the race before it started.
That would have been unreal. Cassidy Bradshaw, he mistakenly called out the front of the field after one lap. She actually did find herself towards the back, but on the whole second lap, just worked her way closer and closer to the front. Massive run by Cassidy Bradshaw in second position there.
Yeah, well, I reckon another 20 metres and she had it. So she was obviously coming with a bit of pace.
Too bad it wasn't one of those 1,000 metres that they run like an 800.
Everybody's favourite.
A bit of a milestone for the boys in the next event here. Most of them have a PB of 2 minutes flat, couple of 2:01s, and only one athlete, Nathan Crowley from Bendigo University, has a 1:59 to his name. So they'll all be chasing that elusive sub-2.
Geez, there could be some names here. I reckon we're going to see 5 guys under 2 minutes. That's my tip.
I reckon, not to be the pessimist, I reckon 3.
1.
Nah, I don't reckon they're good enough. I reckon 3. Last Milers Club meet of the season, though. Maybe it's all built into this. Go through in about 50, 57, 58? 57 might be a touch
57.
hot. 57.
You're going to have to give yourself a little bit of room.
Okay, so you're saying they'll go through in a 57?
Yeah.
And I'll say 58. That's the first bet.
Yep. 57, 58. And then I reckon...
No. Oh, okay. You're 57, I'm 58.
Yeah, I'll go 58 if you want.
No.
You want 58?
I want 58.
Okay, I'll go
57. And then the next one, I think 3 people will go sub 2. You think 5.
I reckon we're going to see...
Write that down in the comments, please, so we remember what we've said.
Benjamin Collins is going under 2 minutes.
Yeah, who else? Who are the other 4?
Okay. Nathan Crowley, Harvey Anderson,
the top 5 Patrick seeds.
Patrick Reshko, and Lachlan Haddad. So I reckon with hip number 1, Lachlan Rayner of Essendon. Number 2, Harvey Anderson from Knox. Number 3, Noah Wright of the Yarra Rangers. Number 4, Benjamin Collins of Knox. Number 5, Nathan Crowley of Bendigo University. Number 6, Patrick Rechko of St Kevin's. Number 7, Oscar O'Connor of Doncaster. Number 8, Mark Stodden of Richmond. And number 9, Liam Keneally of Old Scotch. And that is the first one I've done without getting a mistake.
Yeah, well done. No stutters at all. And I'm not sure if Ben Collins is going to go under 2 minutes. I hope he does. I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
Seed time, 2 minutes. 0.00.00.
That usually means someone's lied.
I don't know Benjamin Collins. I wish him all the best.
On your marks.
But when you see 0.000 come through, you
get nervous.
think someone's setting himself up for a nice little
Gavin
seeded
Barron.
race. So
I think that's Gavin Barron's work. So I reckon they're going to go out hot here, Mick.
that's Noah Wright of Yarra Rangers in lane 3. His charge towards the front. Nathan Crowley from Bendigo University is right up there as well in the mix, as is Harvey Anderson of Knox. Benjamin Collins, our 2 minute flat seed time runner, is right in the mix as well in the middle of that field. So it is through 200 metres in about 28 seconds for our sub-2 mission tonight.
I reckon you're going to be spot on with the 58. I reckon they're going to come around in about the 30 seconds here. This group is beautifully bunched too, Mick. So I reckon they're right on right now. So these boys are going to try and find a bit of positioning at the bell. You're going to want to be towards the front, I reckon, as we see our Doncaster athlete now come around the outside, and that is Oscar O'Connor. So O'Connor going to try and make his way to it.
Through in 58.
So you're bang on right now. Nathan Crowley of Bendigo University. He's going to lead it out. I'm trying to get a read on Andy Buchanan to see whether or not he's happy with how this race is unfolding. So it is still going to be our Bendigo athlete, Nathan Crowley. 300 metres to go, Mick, and this is where I think our tips are going to shape up.
Absolutely. Noah Wright, he's been right in the mix. He's been right in the mix from the start. I should put more emphasis on the
Knox.
there. And that is our athlete from Knox in Harvey Anderson. He is charged past Crowley, 200 minutes to go. He'll go under 2 minutes. Crowley will go under 2 minutes. Will the rest of them?
Benjamin Collins as well. Here
Collins
he comes.
is getting up on the shoulder or on the heels of Nathan Crowley at least. It is Wright who is going.
We've got about 5 blokes, I reckon, right now that are going to be around the mark. 145. Absolutely. They're going to have to really move this last straight.
Liam Keneally, Patrick Rechko from St Kevin's. There's a swagger of athletes. 154, 55, 56, 157, 158.
I don't know.
I reckon that was definitely 4, possibly 6.
Oh,
that got under 2. We got to find out those results. Definitely 4. So I'm out.
We got
because it was over. Definitely 4.
Oh, what racing!
Could have been 6.
Oh, it could have been. I mean, they were nicely bunched,
and
if
it's
just
6,
got blown out.
you're over and it's bust.
Oh yeah. Well, then we both lose. The house wins.
That was unreal.
Good racing from the boys.
Finish.
I mean, getting under that 2 minute mark is just so crucial.
Could have thrown a blanket over. Positions 2 to 5 there?
I was impressed with Harvey Anderson there. He was absolutely flying. Look at the boys get around him. The swagger's actually real. I know we made it up, but the swagger is real. I'm watching it.
The mullets are real too, by the looks of it.
Boy, are they real. Am I jealous? A little bit. I'll be honest. Everyone watching from overseas as well, do you think they look at some of our Australian haircuts and go, what on earth is going on? I can understand.
Yeah, probably. You're not going over to America and seeing an Aussie haircut adapted.
Oh goodness, no, they don't typically like it.
Unless
having
it's
had
a big
mullet
fat
in
joke.
America. And so we see our women's B 800, a hot field here for our women. With hip number 1, we have Megan Dean of Old Zavarians. Number 2, Amy McKinlay of Glen Huntly. Number 3, Amy Canavan of Eureka. Number 4, Julie Fitt of Box Hill. Number 5, Bridget Humphrey of Deakin. Number 6, Sky Ellis of Chilwell. Number 7, Cleo Richardson of St Kevin's. Number 8, Karima Joaquim of Collingwood. Number 9, Daisy Sudholes of Eureka. Number 10, Tanasha Santosh of Glen Huntly. And rounding it out with number 11 is Declan Tanner of Mornington Peninsula. So a very, very class field here, Mick. These ladies have raced all across the summer at Vic Milers Club. I reckon we've seen every name on this track at the Victorian Milers Club. And it's hard to split them, honestly. There is about 1.8 seconds between them in PBs.
Definitely. There's some athletes on the track more experienced than others. There's some who are more the younger up-and-comers. It will be very interesting to see if any of them dip under that 2:14, which is the lead seed time from Julie Fitt, Bridget Humphrey and Sky Alice, the athletes right in the middle, who are the athletes who are charging out to the front of this race right now. Bridget Humphrey might get the best of them around 100, 150 metres into the race. Sky Alice on her inside and Julie Fitt on her outside will be your top three right now as the athletes start to string out. It's not quite as bunched as the previous races, and someone's just taken Bridget Humphrey. That will be our athlete from Chilwell. I think that is Sky Alice there by the looks of it. The Chilwell uniform. So Sky Alice, Bridget Humphrey, 250 metres gone in this race. 2 minutes 14 is the time that they are aiming for. They would have to be going through in about a 66, so even Sky 65. Alice,
she's going to stretch them out here, Mick, I reckon. So they're obviously running for a time. There's no ability in placing here at Vic Milers Clubs. It's all about the time. So Ellis, she's going to lead out from Humphrey, Fitt on the outside there. McKinley on the inside, nicely tucked on the rail. So if you can stay on the rail around the bend, it seems to be very beneficial thus far, Mick. But we see Julie Fitt. She's going to try and get over to the top of Humphrey just to hug that rail right now. So it is still all Sky Ellis out in front. Julie Fitt might have to be the one to try and put this race on their back and try and peg back Sky Ellis. But the Sky right now, it's the limit. And as we start to see right now, Julie Fitt on her outside too. I can't quite get a read on who that is. But Julie Fitt's going to try and keep her out of the inside of the track with 200 metres to go. But Mick, Sky Ellis, she might be tightening up a little bit, and the rest of this pack is going to start to hunt.
Yeah, absolutely. The pack is starting to string out. They are bridging the gap ahead as a race of 5 out the front now as they round that final bend. They all went through in about 64 to 66 seconds. It's just a matter of how hard or how fast they can close in this final lap. As it is, Cleo Richardson taking the lead from Sky Alice for the first time. Julie Fitt charging quickly behind, but it is Cleo Richardson who will take the win in the women's B 800 metres in a time of 2:13. And all of the athletes under 2:17 in this women's B. So seed times only separated by about 1 to 2 seconds and finishing times about 3 seconds. I reckon that's the closest race we've seen so far.
Oh, definitely. I reckon there was a few PBs at the front end of that race there too. So
2:17, all of the athletes there could have very well collected a PB. It is possible.
Without a doubt. Very close.
Unreal.
I can't say my typical line. The home of PBs, because I can't give Glenn Huntley
we just don't know. We just don't know if Glenn Huntley is the home of PBs. It just hasn't been tested enough. Whereas Box Hill well and truly has.
We know
it's evidence. It's not science. It's more like maths, I guess.
No, it's science.
Science, okay. It's a home of PBs. It's science. It's philosophy.
Yeah, Aristotle.
Did you go to a smart school or something?
Wow, yeah.
TRI, what's that? What's the abbreviation TRI?
Should probably know, given it's my own school. Shout out Trinity.
So our men's B race. So 3 800-metre races left on the calendar here on the timetable here at Glen Huntly. Last final Milers Club meet of the season. Lane 1 is Hamish Bayliss from Deakin. Lane 2, Finian Russell from Mornington Peninsula. Lane 3, Isaac Rosato from Eureka. Lane 4, James Hatton from Glen Huntly. Lane 5, Brian Wilson from Melbourne Uni. Lane 6, Felix Lonergan from St Kevin's. Lane 7, James Taranto from his unattached. Lane 8, Matthew Goff, Mentone. Lane 9, Luke Padgett from Eureka. And there is a bunch of athletes here who have changed clubs within the last 3 or 4 years, because I'm sure a few of them I recognise next to different clubs.
Felix Lonergan.
Absolutely. Yep. Finn Russell could be another one. Luke Padgham, Eureka used to be Bendigo, but we won't talk about that. We'll talk about the races on hand right now as James Hatton from Glen Huntly sits in nicely behind Brian Wilson from Melbourne University. And it is a bit of a pack run so far. The athletes are only separated by about 3 seconds in seed time. The leading person in the race now does have the leading seed time of 1:54, and that is the time that they will be chasing as a pack.
Yeah, so Brian Wilson's going to be more than happy to lead these boys out. And as you mentioned, Mick, he does have the fastest time in this race. So he, at the front, is going to be very advantageous to the rest. And the next guy with the fastest time is Felix Lonigan. He's tucked in right behind him. So we see our Mornington Peninsula athlete, Finian Russell. He's obviously chasing a time with a 1:56 to his name. So it is going to be Brian Wilson ahead of Felix Lonigan. Finian Russell not far behind there on the outside. Hamish Bayless has wheels tucked in at the inside of the rail, so if he can get himself free, he could get absolutely flying. But watch out for Felix Lonigan, tucked in beautifully behind Brian Wilson. Wilson's done it early, and here we see now Glenn Huntley athletes. They seem to know when to move. Jimmy Hatton, here we go, Mick.
He is going up on the shoulder of Felix Lonigan with gusto. He is chasing Brian Wilson. Is he going to run out of space, Brian Wilson? He's just extending that lead ever so slightly as Hatton slips in behind Lonigan again. Nice try, but he might have just tied at the wrong spot. Lonigan, a class runner now. Looks like he is almost going to be coming up on the shoulder of Wilson as they charge into the home straight. It is Wilson, Lonigan. It's a race of two up the front. Hatton is charging hard as well. The athlete from Mentone, Matthew Goff, Finn Russell, they're all there. Wilson finishing first in 1:56. Lonigan not too far away in 57, and Finn Russell to round out your top three there in the men's B 800 metres.
Yeah, that was great racing. I thought Lonigan might be able to get down there in the final parts of that race, but really well done there from Russell, and good way to cap it off there in the B as we turn our attention to the most talented 800 metre ladies on the track, the A race.
Absolutely.
Or the women, I should say, not the ladies, on the track now.
That was an exciting race.
Well, Hamish Bayless, as I said, once he got off the rail, he actually started to move. I think he came through for about third or fourth there.
You didn't see where the kicks were coming from. It was a race of a few at the end.
I don't think they knew where the kicks were coming from.
And to read out your starters in the women's A 800 metres, in lane 1 we have Amy Bunnage of Mentone, lane 2 Rochelle Kennedy of Western Athletics, lane 3 Clara Dess of Geelong Guild, lane 4 Shani Landon of Melbourne Maccabee, lane 5 Georgia Griffith of Box Hill, lane 6 Amy Robinson Collingwood, lane 7 Claudia Carter of Glen Huntley, home track hero, she knows those bends well. Sophia Hanlon of Glen Huntley, her teammate who also knows the bends of Duncan MacKinnon very well. Lane 9, Rachel O'Brien of Wellington. Lane 10, Lucinda Rourke of Williamstown. Lane 11, Ashley Tragus of Box Hill. Bit of a spread of age groups here in this race, a spread of experience and a spread of familiar names here at Milers Club, Mitch.
I reckon watch out for Amy Bunnage in lane number 1 from Mentone. She's been running fantastically across the season. Obviously, Georgia Griffith and Shanae Landon as well are two class athletes. Lucinda Rourke. I mean, you're probably going to see Georgia Griffith and Shanae Landon start to gap, even from Amy Robinson. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see some really good PBs in this A race here, Nick.
Absolutely. Amy Bunny, we talked about Claudia Hollingsworth. She's been the talk of that 1,000 metre race a few weeks ago. And under the tutelage of the great Craig Mottram, as is Amy Bunnage through Haileybury College. And she's a very, very strong runner for someone who's particularly young.
Yeah, well, at the state championships, Bunnage absolutely made a mockery of some of her races. She's just smooth and class and in control. And you're right, when Craig Mottram starts to mentor these athletes, they seem to do a phenomenal job of being able to hold on. So we're going to wait and see if our pacemaker can get her way to the front of the race. And I believe that she has now comfortably at 200. So our pacemaker manages to find her way there. As we see, only one athlete tucking behind, that is
as you would be expecting.
So Georgia Griffith, Shanae Landon as well behind there. So too is going to be Amy Robinson. So 1, 2, 3 of the fastest times find themselves strung out that way through the first 300 metres of this race. And watch Georgia Griffith move. She has a beautiful running style and she manages to hold her form extremely well. Robinson now going to take up the chase and try and get right behind there. And so too Landon behind them. The one tucked in nicely too is going to be Clara Dess. So Dess behind there too. The pacemaker steps off and Georgia Griffith says it's my turn now. So Amy Robinson's going to tuck in nicely behind her there. They start to gap a little bit back there to Landon, I reckon, Mick. So Griffith has a little bit of company in Robinson with 300 metres to go. Now we're going to try and see the strength of these athletes really shine through.
Absolutely. Georgia Griffith hasn't done too much racing of late. She'll be looking to prove herself tonight with a fast time and a bit of a kick down on the back straight as she keeps getting further and further away from Robinson. Clara Dess is chasing strong in third position and the flood of athletes to follow. But it is all Griffith. She went through that first lap in 59 seconds. If she can close quickly, she'll be looking for a low 2-minute finish as she enters a straight. Robinson looking strong. Clara Dess following behind them. Shani Landon, so Clara Dess third position. But Georgia Griffith is 153, 154, 155. She has 50 metres to go. She is charging strong. 159, 2 minutes, and is going to be an unbelievable time. 2:02 for Georgia Griffith. Amy Robinson in second. That will be Lucinda Rourke in third. Amy Bunnage in fourth place.
6-second PBs there for Amy Bunnage and Rourke as well.
Huge.
So they got absolutely dragged through there. Georgia Griffith, Griffo, you might have just been running a time trial just then. She looked so smooth coming down to the end there. I saw Steve Ellinghouse up on that bend with 200 metres to go say, let's get moving, and get moving is exactly what Griffo did. So great racing from the women there. And, yeah, Amy Bunnage and Lucinda Rourke really just stood out to me there. 2:06 is on the clock. That's phenomenal racing. So Liz Matthews, so too Craig Mottram, well done as those girls come through for a massive PB to round out there. Victorian Milers Club.
Amy Robinson would have, absolutely. Amy Robinson would have been PB race there as well. 2:08 was her listed time. So
maybe
she got
for her.
Definitely. Maybe it is the home of PBs, Mitch.
Yeah, geez.
Maybe it's
I shouldn't pump it up so
maybe
much.
It's the holiday house of PBs.
Yeah, maybe
it's not your first home.
It's the interim. It's the interim house of PBs.
It's the apartment of PBs.
Yeah. It's the share house of PBs. Not the home.
Don't know what connotations you're trying to make with share house, but
well, it's good for the time being.
And once again, the speed on the track isn't going anywhere as we see the men 800 metre athletes lining up. In lane 1 we have Jacob Reed of Deakin. Lane 2, Darcy Pound of Box Hill. Lane 3, Geordie Hoare of Mentone. Lane 4 of Lachlan Hurd of Casey Cardinia in the full bodysuit, Mitch, if you don't mind.
Yeah, he loves the full bodysuit, Lockie Hurd.
We all do, mate. Lane 5, Jake Stevens of Mornington Peninsula. Lane 6, Sam Williams of Melbourne Uni. Lane 7, Wolfgang Contra-Nemesi of Collingwood. Lane 8, Joel Donner of Athletics Nunawading. Lane 9, Riley Bryce of Old Zavarians. And Lane 10, Spencer Storen of Knox.
I'm going to make a call. I don't think that's Darcy Pound with hip number 2. He doesn't look like he's racing, so...
That'd be hip number 9 in lane number 2.
Yep.
Ooh,
Riley Bryce. He was almost close to false starting there as well. We're at it. But these boys are going to find their way out, and I don't know. Did you see who that pacemaker was on the outside?
I did not recognise him as he lined up. We might see him as he comes past that first lap. He's Jake Stevens in that unmistakable orange
Joel
vest.
Donner gets to the front. Or Stevens is... He might just get on the inside there. So I think Stevens is going to just beat out Donner. Sam Williams as well of Melbourne Uni is going to be tucked in third. Wolfgang Contra-Nemesi, he's in fourth position. But Jake Stevens, yes, such a nice, beautiful stride, Stevens. He's going to pull these guys through. Joel Donner with a 154. Stevens has the capability to get these guys to around that 150 mark, very low. And I believe, is that... No, Carew, I think I'm hearing the name. So Stevens there is going to lead out Joel Donner behind him there. Williams. Look at Lockie Hurd now come around Wolfgang Contra-Nemesi. So Contra-Nemesi on the back there. Hurd in the bodysuit moves around nicely. Steven leaves out Donner with 350 metres to go. And it'll be interesting to see what Joel Donner can do over Stevens because he is strong right now as the rest of this field. Watch Lockie Hurd here, Mick.
Absolutely. It's Hurd who leads or... is the last carriage on that front train as the rest of the pack follows. Stevens, recent medalist of the Victorian Championships. Donner just getting up on his shoulder. Something to prove in the last 200 metres. Donner is extending that gap ahead of Stevens as Stevens starts to slow as he rounds the discus cage. Sam Williams is trying his best to get on, as is Lachlan Hurd from Casey Cardinia in the full body suit, Mitch.
Yeah, well, Joel Donner, I kicked the footy with him at Auskick, and right now he's kicking away down the home straight. So Joel Donner, he might say see you later to Stevens. Stevens on the outside, he's tough. Lockie Hurd thinks he might be tougher. Wolfgang Kotra-Nemesi, but Joel Donner, tip your head and say g'day. Joel Donner's going to take it out from Jake Stevens. Wolfgang Kotra-Nemesi, Hurd as well, and our man there in Sam Williams of Melbourne Uni wasn't far away, but Joel Donner has run year after year after year here at the Victorian Milers Club. Never had the win. So he's
in a 151 as well, if you don't mind. Woo! About 3-second PB for Donner.
Well
Huge
done.
run to probably round out the season.
Well, he runs a lot of the professional leagues, so he's obviously been able to.
He likes to chase.
Yeah, he knows exactly what he's doing.
Jake Stevens led out early. He said, "You're exactly where I want you."
And Joel Donner, I reckon he's going to go find his fiancée as quickly as possible.
Why do you reckon that?
He's a passionate man. So well done to the boys there. Jake Stevens, he is always never far away. Honestly, he could fall over and you reckon he'd still be in the top 3, Jake Stevens. He's that tough. So great racing here in the men's A800. And that rounds it out for the 800s. I mean, I know it felt like you didn't see too many because we missed a few of them. But wow, the ones that you saw, spectacular. We have a small gap of time between now and the 1500s.
That's right. There will be a few minutes as we open up our timetable here. 8 o'clock. So we do have about 5 or 6 minutes until the 1500 metre program starts. So we do start with the men's J, 1500 metres, going all the way up to the men's A to round out the night at 9:37 p.m. So a juicy 1 hour and 50 minutes of 1500 metre running coming up, Mitch.
I'm excited.
Yep, I think so.
Well. Hope you didn't miss me because the break is over. So on the track now, we have our 1500s and we start with our men's J 1500. So sit down if you're not already because we have 18 men in this race. And hip number 1, William Dines of Diamond Valley. Number 2, Thomas MacArthur of SBE. Number 3, Brendan Cullen of Doncaster. Number 4, Matthew Bergen of Mentone. Number 5, Daniel Plotkin of Glen Huntly. Number 6, Jasper Gay of WTN Williamstown, I believe. Number 7, Ollie Mayhew Sharp, unattached. Number 8, Rupert Van Dongen of Mentone. Number 9, Daniel Chen of Box Hill. Number 10, Tim McNeil of Old Zavarians. Number 11, Sergeant Diol of Box Hill. Number 12, Mason Woodward of BEU. Number 13, Cameron Marshall of Old Zavarians. Number 14, Aidan Muscat of Old Zavarians. Number 15, Bailey Graham, Western A's. Number 16, Jamie Mayhew Sharp of Mornington Peninsula. Number 17, John Birmingham, unattached. And number 18, Brett Maloney, unattached. As these boys find themselves strung out early, I would say that it's already broken up into a pack of 2. Maybe we'll call it 3 or 4 as they start to come around our commentators' booth here at Duncan MacKinnon Reserve. So we have a Lone Ranger athlete out in front. He's gonna have an absolute crack here, our Glen Huntly athlete. So Daniel Plotkin, not afraid to put on for the crowd, for the hometown, for the city, for the 6, as Drake may call it. So we see Daniel Plotkin. He's going to come through 300. Looking really smooth. Our man who's going to chase him now is William Dines. So too our Old Zavarian athlete in Cameron Marshall. So Marshall behind Dines, but it is Plotkin who's more than happy to lead them out here. He's got about 20, 30 metres on them, I would say. So we see Plotkin now. He's going to move around. We'll try and get a lead on that time right now. So Plotkin's got about 4 or 5 seconds, I would even say, on the rest of this field. So Plotkin more than happy to lead them out. Dines right behind him there is going to be Marshall. Birmingham not far away either, but it is all Daniel Plotkin. Well, hopefully the camera's got some wide lens because Daniel Plotkin is putting in metres right now. So Plotkin hasn't turned his head, and there's no need to when you know the finish line is in front of you. So Plotkin, he's going to come around this bend now, and he's only extending further and further, Daniel Plotkin. So Daniel Plotkin, he comes in. You can't miss him. If you're a Glen Huntly fan, you'll see the singlet, and if you're a fan of athletics, you'll see Daniel Plotkin. If you love shoes, you'll see the colour orange. So Daniel Plotkin, he's got about 30 metres on the rest of this field, and it is still going to be William Dines leading out the rest of this pack. So Plotkin, comfortable, easy on his own right now. Dines right behind him there. So too is going to be Cameron Marshall. On the outside of Marshall, John Birmingham. Bendigo University athlete as well, going to make their way around. We'll wait and see who's going to move. Something's just been put in front of me that's too good to believe. As we see Mason Woodward now from Bendigo University, but we don't need to worry about Mason Woodward right now as well as he is running because Daniel Plotkin has put 50 metres in him. Well, look at this right now. We're going to see probably our 2 youngest athletes, I dare say, in this field go through 1-2. So Plotkin leading it out. We'll try and get a read on who our Lone Ranger athlete is going to try and lead out the rest of this pack. But right now, Plotkin, he's more than happy to lead it out. The rest of this pack seems very, very content to just go, hey, Plotkin, probably far enough ahead right now. Let's just try and focus on trying to run a fast time because it looks like the W is going to be all sewn up by Daniel Plotkin. So Plotkin has about still a 50-metre lead, I would say, on the rest of this pack. And we'd love to hear some round of applause for Plotkin here. Doing it solo, doing it a tough way, you would say. So Plotkin now hears the sweet, sweet sound of the bell. So Plotkin's going to move around, 380 metres to go, and the rest of this field has brought back our young athlete there in Jasper Gay. So Gay just gets sort of swallowed by the pack there, and we start to see Tim McNeil maybe move around. The rest of this field's going to try and make their presence felt. So McNeil, Cameron Marshall dropping back a little bit there, I believe. But Daniel Plotkin, take your 10, take your 20, 30, 40, 50 metres and throw them out the door, because Plotkin's got 80 metres on this field right now as he comes around what feels like the longest bend in Melbourne. So Plotkin's going to make his way around. He is plotting his way through this final 150 metres. All the dads out there, I hope you got your New Balance shoes on, because you'd love that joke. So Plotkin now, he's got 110 metres to go. He's done it from gun to tape right now, Daniel Plotkin. Sensational racing. Watch the arm movements of this young man. He is certainly a name to watch right now. Daniel Plotkin, he's going to charge down to the line all on his own. It's always Daniel Plotkin. It will always be Daniel Plotkin here in the men's J1500. So Daniel Plotkin's going to take it out, gives a dip at the line and says, thank you, mother, for the rabbits. So well done to Daniel Plotkin there, as we see the rest of this pack now broken up. So we see a little bit of movement towards the end of this race, and we're going to see Daniel Chen. He's going to be the one to take it out there, right ahead of Cameron Marshall, and behind him there is Brendan Cullen. So we see the rest of this field come through now, as we see Bailey Graham come down and hit the line. But Daniel Plotkin, he was not even challenged during that race, Daniel Plotkin. So he might have to bump up his PB, I think, a little bit, Daniel Plotkin, because he's done that in an incredibly tough way, and he's been able to come out with a win. As we see Matthew Bergen come through now. Well done, Matty Bergen. So too Thomas MacArthur. So I think we're seeing some big PBs here to kick it off at the share house of PBs. As we see Rupert Van Dongen, and I believe he ran the 800. So he's done the double. Not quite the Gold Coast Marathon 63.3 double, but still a double nonetheless. As we have the men's I-1500, 17 names. All right, Mitchell, VCE, don't get nervous. I'm more nervous for this. Hip number 1, Oliver Anthony of Essendon. Number 2, Ranveer Gurjar of Box Hill. Number 3, Mark Hipworth, Independent. Number 4, Dane Gray, unattached. Number 5, Benji Miles, unattached. Number 6, Philip Turville, unattached. Number 7, Tyler Murphy, Diamond Valley. Number 8, Andrew Evans of Collingwood. Number 9, Brady Ryan, unattached. Number 10, Russell Jenkins, Bendigo University. Number 11, Josiah Backer of Doncaster. Number 12, Andrew Turver, Mornington Peninsula. Number 13, Mikhail Susan of Glen Huntly. Number 14, Oliver Burns of WTN. You'll come back to me. I can't remember it for some reason. Williamstown, thank you. Number 15, Anthony Quee of Melbourne University. Number 16, Eugene Nemesi of Collingwood. And number 17, rounding it out here, Glen Huntly's Will Orchard.
Thank you, gentlemen. On your marks.
And around 4:40 is the time that the athletes will be aiming for today. Some around that 5-minute mark for the seed time. So the spread will be of about 100 to 150 metres by the time they finish. But right now, they're about 30 metres spread across the track. It's a bit hard to see who is leaning the way, but they will be heading for times of about 76 seconds per lap. And we'll get a bit more of a read as they round the bend. So it is Dane Gray unattached in the blue singlet. Actually, Ranveer Gurjar.
Ranveer Gurjar, he was in this box earlier today.
He was having a chat. 440 was it? That'd be a good run for him with a PB of 4:47. So Ranveer clearly been doing some work over the season and confident in getting a PB tonight, and he's not leaving anything to chance. Might have been a bit slow for him at the start as he goes through that first lap in about 68 seconds. So he's almost on pace. He will, as he said, he will need to take this race and make it his own if he is going to get under that 440 mark. The rest of the athletes are trailing in quite a long train. Not quite a road train, one of those longer cargo trains.
He's got the cargo train, I think, right now.
One of those annoying trains that you're just sitting... You're like, hang on, shouldn't you be in the country, Victoria?
Yeah.
And it's through Metro Melbourne, and it's like, how many carriages just went past? Anyway, one of them is on the track about 16 athletes spread right in the middle. Ranveer Gurja is the carriage that has broken away from the front as he goes through the 600-metre mark.
Yeah, Rampage Gurja, we might as well call him right now, because he is away from the rest of the carriage. So right now, Ranveer Gurja, you're right, Mick, he had to try and make this race his own in order to try and break that 440. That's exactly where his head's at right now. So the rest of this field not too far behind. It is still going to be Dane Gray who's going to try and peg them back as we see a few boys turn their heads around at the back of that pack. Watch out for Philip Turville in the purple singlet there. So Turville at the back of this pack might be able to make a few moves as he gets around the outside on the second biggest bend in Melbourne. So Ranveer Gurja, they've started to peg him back a little bit here, Mick. So he's only got about 5-10 metres now ahead of the rest of this pack. Okay, there's still going to be Dane Gray, who's done a lot of the work to try and get the rest of these boys right up to Gurja. So the challenge for Ranveer Gurja right now is going to be, if he gets past, he needs to stay in control and stay attached to this pack, because it looks like it's going to be Dane Gray who's going to read the rest of this pack right past Ranveer Gurja. And Gurja, you just need to be a little bit tough here, and all you need to be is tough for a small period of time, and it's going to pay off dividends towards the end of it. But Dane Gray, he's going to move the rest of this pack around Ranveer Gurja, and these boys now are really starting to get themselves moving, Mick.
Absolutely. It might not be the worst thing for Ranveer. He could sit in the pack there. He just rests for a little bit, although the front train or the... they've separated in two trains, haven't they now? Two metro trains rather than big cargo trains, or road trains as we'd call them.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, Turville's at the back of that pack, and now he's made his way towards the front. So he's going to be chasing down Dane Gray out in front. Turville there on the outside in the purple. We have another
unattached athlete. Don't mind that purple singlet of Turville as well. A bit of swagger on track. It's not from the swagger of Knox, just the swagger of Turville himself with the swagger of Turville with that purple singlet. Love it.
So Turville right on the shoulder now of Gray. So we see the rest of these boys now. They're going to have to really get moving to make sure Turville doesn't get too far away, because he just wants to get to the rail before the bend. And he's going to do exactly that. So Turville gets exactly what he wanted with 200 metres to go. He's going to try and stream away, but the rest of this pack is fierce, is strong, is hungry. How hungry are they? We're about to find out with 150 metres to go. Turville 5 metres ahead though, Mick.
We'll need a close in about 40 seconds over the last 200 metres. Completely possible for the calibre of these athletes if they want to get under a 4:45. 20 seconds to close in his final 100 metres. Turville will get there. Gray will get there. Will the others get there?
Yeah, well, it is going to be Turville. He's going to dip his head ahead of Gray. Now
huge
coming
PB.
through too is Oliver Barnes, and then so too
Benji Miles. Oliver Anthony as well, all getting PBs. Actually, the top 8 and 9 athletes in this race all going under that 4:45 mark and collecting themselves brand new, shiny PBs to round out the season at Milers Club. Huge. Maybe it is a home of PBs. Maybe it's not just a share house of PBs.
I'm starting to think I might have to give it a new name.
We'll think for another in-between version of house. I think Holiday House is good, because Holiday House is a bit of fun.
PBs, I can take that.
You know, the home of PBs is reliable. Box Hill has done it meet after meet after meet. Tonight we're having a heap of fun. It's a Holiday House of PBs.
Holiday House.
All right, we'll go with that.
Time away.
First of the women's events for the 1,500 metres up on the track next. So it will be the women's E 1,500 metres, 12 starters, and their PBs range about a minute.
I reckon I've seen Stuart McSwain shake hands with every single person at this track tonight.
Yeah, I didn't know royalty was in the house.
And hopefully he's got his eyes glued to this women's E 1,500, Mick.
I would dare say, if he's at the track, I would dare say that he will. So 5:20 is the leading seed time of a few of these girls in this event. They would be looking for around a time of 1:25 or so per lap. So in lane 1, it's Ruby Ellis unattached. Lane 2, Joanne Pratt. TXR, Mitch. Here's one for you. We'll get back to you on that abbreviation there. Lane 3, Ella Michelle, unattached. Lane 4, Mia Alm from Box Hill. Lane 5, Tiana Postons, Box Hill. Lane 6, Sarah Black, Glenn Huntley. She knows these bends well, Mitch. She's done many laps, Sarah Black, around this track. Lane 7, Grace Wilson from Doncaster. Lane 8, Hannah Black from Glen Huntley. She has also done many laps around this track with her sister, cousin, auntie or mum in Sarah Black. Lane 9, Clayton Hodder, unattached. Lane 10, Mel Georgiadis, unattached. Lane 11, Talia Warsome from Box Hill. And to round out the field of 12, as they round the first bend, Yasim Ostic Smith from South Melbourne.
And so these ladies have been able to be strung out early here, Mick. And so they're going to form, I suppose, a line of some sorts. It doesn't seem to be very bunched, but we do have some running out in lane 2. So they're just going to try and find their spot. I know it takes a little bit more time across the 1500s. So these ladies are going to try and find it nice and comfortable as quickly as they can. And I think it's Yasmin Ostic Smith there on the outside of Tiana Poston. So Poston's there is going to lead out Ostic Smith, and so too is going to be Sarah Black. So I believe, Mick, they may be twins, the Black sisters.
Yep.
I think.
Yeah,
so it's
rather than an auntie-mum type relationship, I'd say, sisters probably pretty spot on. Could be twins.
I take it back if I've got it wrong. But we do see Tiana Postons leading them out here. So been running right across the summer, Tiana Poston's done a lot of work here at the Vic Milers Club. And so
long train, which has lost a couple of carriages off the back, but the train remains intact in large of about 10 athletes helping each other out, which is what you need to do in the early stages of a 1500 metres. The first couple of laps, settle in. Third lap, run as hard as you can, and that last lap or last 300, just hang on. Was that your sort of theory, the standard standard little laps coach theory?
Mine was put your left foot in front of your right for as long as you can until you get past.
Mine was kind of treat your 1500 like a 1200 and then see what happens. Yeah. Hope you're fit enough and strong enough.
Hopefully you'll be able to get your legs across the line. But right now, the people who don't have to worry about that is the ones running beautifully on the track right now. So it is still Tiana Postons leading out from Ostic Smith. Behind there is Sarah Black. And just tucked in nicely is Mia Elam. So Elam there, I reckon, at the back of that pack, looking dangerous, and I think that is going to be trying to bridge it back to the front pack here. Right now, all we have to focus on is Postons. I thought it might have been Athletics Nuttawading, but there is no Nuttawading in this race. So I would have got that horrifically wrong. So
and they're going through.
Going to lead them out of the top 4.
They're going through in just under that 250 as well, Mitch. So they're on track for that. 5:15, 5:20. Sarah Black, she knows the bends well, the local girl.
She knew, get there early.
She's left her cousin or sister in Hannah Black behind, and she's making this race her own.
Yeah, well, Poston's going to be the one to latch on. It's a really good move there. She did a lot of the work early to lead it out. Now she gets that little bit of a reprieve, a little bit of a breather to sit behind there. She's going to let Sarah Black do some of the work. And the two people you need to be most wary of are Ostic Smith and so too Mia Elam. So Mia Elam, Ostic Smith, as I say that.
Elam's looking good.
Yeah,
she just tucked herself in that whole race.
Watch out for Ostic Smith as well, I think. So Sarah Black's going to want to try and get a really big wiggle on around this bend, I think, to try and get rid of the other three behind her. But Poston's now, so she's going to go around the bend, which is always a little bit tricky because you're always going to run a little bit further. So she has none of the patience to wait till the home straight, or the back straight, I should say. She's just going to try and get moving around Black, but Black isn't going to let her. So Poston's now on the outside of Black with 300 metres to go, Mick.
Absolutely. It's Black's track tonight here at Glen Huntley, Duncan MacKinnon Reserve. And the top 4 girls are all heading for a time of around 5 minutes, 15 seconds, depending on how well they close this last 200 metres, which would be a PB for all of them. We'll call the PBs of the other athletes as they cross the finish line. 200 metres to go. Black has just got passed by the likes of the Box Hill teammates of Alum and Postons. So it's a race of 3 out the front. Alum, Postons, Black is going to try her best to hang on as they round the bend, round the final straight for the last time.
So it is Postons who's going to lead out from Elam. And you mentioned Elam earlier. You said she had the benefit of the sit. So it is Elam on the outside of Postons. Postons puts her head down. She's going to try and lead it out on the inside. And I think she's going to get there. But Elam has one more push. Postons, Elam. It's going to be Postons.
Well under that.
Elam on the outside there. Black now going to have to settle for third. Sensational racing across the board. So too Ostic Smith. And now too is going to be Peyton Hodder. So Hodder comes through. A big contingent of Box Hill there as we
all under 520 as well. First 6-7 athletes all under 520 getting PBs for themselves.
Huge.
Grace Wilson from Doncaster across the line now. She will collect a PB. Mel Georgiadis, PB of about 10 seconds for Mel Georgiadis, unattached. So I think she's got the Sunbury Little Athletics uniform on there.
So we see our final 2 athletes now come down this home straight. And it is going to be Mel Georgiadis. And just past there, right at the end, was Ella Michelle. So Ella Michelle came streaming home with 50 metres to go. So well done to our women there in the E1500.
Nice little 20-second PB from, or 15-second PB there from Ella Michelle. Not bad for a season closer.
Yeah. You'd be stoked with that as an athlete.
That is, of course, unless you're going to be running the Box Hill Track Classic in a couple of weeks' time. Steve Deneen, if you're watching, little promo plug for you.
I tell you now, he will be probably voiceless at the MCG right now. He's one of the biggest die-hard Carlton fans of all time.
Is it 1,500 3Ks for this Box Hill meet in a couple of weeks? So it might not necessarily be a season closer for many of these athletes out here. They might have one more shot.
Well, I think
some might be going on to nationals in April as well.
Like the burn, Mick, I think we're going to see some very, very fast top-end racing.
Rumour has it.
So strap yourselves in for that next Box Hill meet. And you're right, we do have nationals coming up, both open and junior. So some of these athletes will be lucky enough to represent Victoria there, and it's always a thrill to be able to represent your state. So, or I don't know if we have any interstate athletes in any of these races in the 15s.
Noticed a couple of the A races do have a handful of interstaters who have come down, and we'll expect a heap of interstaters racing that Box Hill Track Classic in a couple of weeks. Good Friday Eve as well.
Beautiful.
It's going to be a party out there, mate.
Oh,
I know you said this is a share house of PBs, but
I think we're going to the real
it's going to be the party home of PBs at Box Hill Track Classic. I know they had the Furfies last time.
Oh, that was nice. Shout out to Jeremy Griffith. So on the track now, we see our men's H1500. With hip number 1, David Venor of Athletics Waverley. Number 2, Kennedy Chen of Box Hill. Number 3, Jed Seven Hewson of Frankston. Number 4, Ben Rouse of Essendon. Number 5, Joshua Carlin of Athletics Nunawading. Number 6, Rob Schwerkolt of Old Scotch. Number 7, Andrew McAvoy of Glen Huntly. Number 8, Sungil Hong of Mentone. Number 9, Luca Sidieris, unattached. Number 10, Oliver Evans, Old Zavarians. Number 11, Jacob Sprunt, Chilwell. Number 12, Andre Bultus of Essendon. Number 13, Finn Kane of Williamstown. Number 14, Magnus Woods of Chilwell. Number 15, Lachlan Stewart of Old Scotch. Number 16, Jacob Cheeseman of Ballarat YCW. Number 17, Nicholas Hershen of MAC. And number 18, Corey Lawson of Mentone. So these boys will get ready to get underway.
And seed times of 4:30 is from a few runners here in this men's age 1500 metres, spreading out to about a 4:45. So the athletes will be somewhat bunched early and then start to string out as the race progresses. So 4:30, 1500 metres, 72-second laps, 3 minute, 1 kilometres is the pace that they will be going for. And we are led out by our athlete from Essendon in Ben Rouse. 4:32 seed time, so you would expect him to be out the front of the field, pushing the pace early. He'll want a quick one. He'll want to collect a PB before his Box Hill Track Classic in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, and tucked in nicely behind him there is going to be Jacob Sprunt of Athletics Chilwell. So too, beautifully on the inside, David Venor. So David Venor, he's so good over the distance. It'll be great to see what he can do over 1500. Sprunt right behind there, and as you said, it's going to be, is it Ben Rouse, I believe, who's leading that out. So Ben Rouse is going to lead them out, but now we see some rivaling on the shoulder there, and it's going to come from Jacob Sprunt. So Jacob Sprunt, I believe, around the front there. As we see this pack sort of starting to break up. Rob Schwerkold of Old Scotch at the back of it, but we see a string of about 8 now start to work their way around the bend. And we have a whole host of different ages and obviously talents in the front end of this race as they do break up through the first 600 metres. And once they come around us, we'll get a better idea of what exactly is happening. I believe that is now Venor who gets to the front. So David Venor, I believe, gets around now to the front. So he's going to let this race play right into his hands. And Venor, as I mentioned, no stranger to the distances. Right behind him there is going to be Jacob Sprunt. So Sprunt behind him. So too is going to be Jed Seven Hewson. So Seven Hewson on the outside there. David Venor, and so it's also Sprunt tucked in, almost in the sandwich there in second place, right on the rail, exactly where you want to be.
So 2:24 they'll be looking for to go through this first 800 metres, and a bunch of athletes out the front are going to do it. I'd say half the field has done it. They are heading for a 4:30. It's going to be a race of the athletes who are going to sprint away, and the athletes can just hold on for this last 700 metres where the race actually begins in a 1500 metres. We've lost a couple of carriages out the back. A few of the carriages out the front are breaking away. It's a big fat peloton in the middle.
Yeah, David Venor now, he's going to try and string this race out. So he does a really good job of being able to test the, I suppose, aerobic fortitude of the rest of this race. And the man who's going to now make his way around the outside, he's gone around Jed Seven Hewson. So Seven Hewson, he's going to sit at the back of this lead 3. It is still going to be David Venor right at the front, right on the rail, as we now start to see one of our other athletes get right up on his shoulder. He pins his head back. It's our Maccabee athlete, I believe. And I think that is Hershen. So it is. So Nicholas Hershen now. He gets right on the outside of Venor. Don't worry about the outside. He gets right in front of Venor. So Venor now, he's got a little bit of work to do. Hershen made his way right there at the start of the bend where you want to be. But look at Venor. He's an experienced racer here, Mick. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's going to tuck on the back. And he's going to see how long Hershen can lead him through and how long he doesn't have to think with 300 metres to go.
Absolutely. He's nipping at the heels. He's got the experience. He's a very familiar name here at Milers Club. But will Hershen just have that snappiness, have that speed in the last 200 metres? He seems to be spreading out those long loping strides and just hanging on as Venor starts to just slip back ever so slightly as they round the discus cage on the back straight. 150 metres to go. It is Hershen, Venor, and a stream of athletes to follow as they enter the front straight for the final time.
Well, yeah, we're going to see Hershen now lead him into the straight, and David Venor, he can't find something. He has to find everything. It doesn't even matter what he finds because Hershen's going to move away right now. So Hershen, he's going to get his legs pumping. His arms are flying, and he's going to take the win here in the men's H1500. Venor behind him there. The fast finishing Magnus Woods comes through for third as well. As we see the rest of the athletes come through in sort of a blanket. Kennedy Chen, he's going to come through with the backwards hat, but Hershen, he just had all the answers late, and he was able to answer the aerobic ability of Venor.
And the first 6 athletes in the race as well, all under 4:30, all PBs. And I dare say a bunch of other athletes to follow got PBs in that event as well. but top 6 under 4:30 and collects shiny new PBs.
Yeah,
So we're getting through them, Mitch. We're getting through them.
We are flying through.
We've got
them,
about
actually.
10, 11, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is great radio. 9, 10, 11, 11 races to go. 1500 metres to go. Finishing off with our women's A 1500 metres at 9:31 and our men's A 1500 metres at 9:37. Jesus, it's hot in here.
Yeah, it is.
Imagine commentating in this sweatbox on an actual hot day.
You would actually sweat through your shirt.
You would get to the point where it wouldn't even matter. 30 degrees to 40 degrees, it'd just be the same because your shirt would be sweat.
Cooked. You'd be cooked.
On your marks. Keep the elbows down.
So our women's D 1500, a star caliber field here for the women. Hip number 1, we have Erin Mariner of Ringwood. Number 2, Freya Harris, unattached. Number 3, Poppy Donaldson, unattached. Number 4, Sammy Prime of Knox. Number 5, Freya Brown of Mornington Peninsula. Number 6, Olivia King, unattached. Number 7, Hayley George, unattached. Number 8, Claire Betton Wells, St Stephen's Harriers. Number 9, Olivia Da Costa Alves, St Stephen's Harriers. Number 10, Greta Ashley, Ballarat YCW. Matilda L'Estrange from Diamond Valley. Number 12, Olivia Richardson from Geelong Guild. Number 13, Ruby Donaldson, unattached. Number 14, Ruby Atkin of Box Hill. And number 15, Phoebe Lonsdale of Bendigo University. My goodness, I can take a breath now.
You got so excited that you just started to stumble, Mitch.
Oh, Matilda L'Estrange is going to be the one to sit on the outside of Freya Harris, as this field is really well strung out here, Mick, and it's strung out really early, which is surprising.
Absolutely. We've seen pretty bunched fields so far, especially through the first lap. It's not generally till the second, third, and especially that final lap that they really start to string out. But the athletes are pretty compact now, which will lend themselves to chasing the PBs that they're after tonight. Seed times of between 5:07 and 5:17 illustrate why the girls are still quite closely bunched 500 metres into this 1500 metre race.
Yeah, but they don't want to spot too much room. I think they want to try and make sure that these leading two don't try and get away. Obviously, you don't want anyone to get away, but they are class athletes at the front of it. So, L'Estrange there sitting in second position. And we will get a read on who that is leading us out as they come around the bend here. It's starting to get dark. It's a beautiful night. There's no wind here in Murrumbeena, as these ladies, or these women, are putting on a show.
Oh, it's a couple of Spicer Track Club athletes, mate.
Oh, of course there is.
Of Sam Spicer's Track Club.
Yeah, well, I think he has equity in it, Victorian Milers Club, the amount of Spicer Track Club shirts I see. So right now leading us out is Freya Harris. Estrange behind there. So too, I believe, is Ruby Donaldson. So sitting there is going to be Freya Brown of Mornington Peninsula, who might try and work her way right behind Donaldson there. But it is all Freya Harris leading us out. Estrange, or L'Estrange, I'm not sure how to say that in French. She's sitting there in second place.
Yeah, it's pretty spot on in French. It's
Yeah,
about that.
thank
The
you.
le, you got the le right.
The Le
As long as you said the L'Estrange.
The L'Estrange. Well, she's looking fantastic as she just slips back there to third position, and it is Freya Harris who's going to lead them out. So she's got about 5 metres on the rest of this field right now, Mick. I'm not sure if you can see who that is who's moved into second place. Is it...
Not easily from this angle, Mitch, but it is quite a bunch there. Are they going to get it back in the later stages? They're going about 1,000 metres into this 1,500 metre race. It is just starting to feel heavy in the legs at this point. Almost one lap to go. Some of them will have a nice kick down. Others will fade into the distance. It'll be interesting to see what happens with that bunch of 6 who is chasing our leader in Freya Harris.
Freya Harris has not knocked whatsoever, but now we start to see, I believe that's our Frankston
Greta Ashley.
athlete. Greta Ashley. Yep, I think you're spot on. Greta Ashley from Ballarat YCW. The one behind her, there's Freya Brown. So Freya Brown is 2 behind Freya Harris.
It's a race
it
of
doesn't
the
even
Freyas.
matter, because Greta Ashley is going to be the one to try and go around the front, and she's the first person I've seen get around on the bend. So she's done
So
a phenomenal
swiftly
job.
as well.
Yeah, didn't have to stutter, didn't have to wait. She just got right around Freya Harris, but Freya Harris is not done with yet. 300 metres to go. So Greta Ashley's the one who's going to lead them out with 280 metres. She starts to move away now to these two. It's going to be a race in egos right now. Who's going to be given the inside? And I think it is going to be Greta Ashley, who might just hold it, but Freya Harris might. She's got there right at the front. So Freya Harris, now she's going to move again. So she had a little bit of time to sit off the back, Mick. But now Freya Harris has made her way to where she's so familiar in this race, which is the front. So Freya Harris puts her foot on it with 150 metres to go. We're going to have to wait and see what Greta Ashley has. But coming into this straight right now, Mick, it is Freya Harris.
Check out Freya Brown, an athlete from Mornington Peninsula. She's chasing hard. Harris is gone. She's got the win. She's too good tonight. But Freya Brown is coming into second position nicely, and they are all going to collect PBs here at Duncan MacKinnon Reserve, the share house of PBs. Under 5 minutes, 2 athletes sub 5, another 2 just over 5 minutes. All PBs, as we mentioned, PB, the seed times were 5:08 and above at the start of this race, and the top 7, 8, 9 athletes in this event have all gone under that mark.
Woo! The Holiday House of PBs.
Heron Mariner coming through now, just over her PB. Claire Beaton Wells around PB pace as well.
So great racing. Now women's D 1500. Big shout out to the Georges if you are watching here at the tracker at home. Great race by Hayley George there. So our men's G 1500 are now on the track. And let's see how quickly I can go through these ones. Are you ready? At hip number 1, we have Murray Lavas of Box Hill. Number 2, Brodie McCarthy, Diamond Valley. Number 3, Jack Ellis of Chilwell. Number 4, Ty Davis of Essendon. Number 5, Cameron Lee of Melbourne University. Number 6, Samuel Coronado of Unattached. Number 7, Terry Tisakaridis of Glen Huntley. Number 8, Jai Farrar of Mornington Peninsula. Number 9, Archie Hewitt, Mornington Peninsula. Number 10, Adam Schlitt of Old Zaverians. Number 11, James Paproth of Old Melburnians. Number 12, Aaron Little of St Kevin's. Number 13, Charles Chandler of Eureka. Number 14, Jordan Michelle, Unattached. Number 15, Will Lovett, Unattached. Number 16, Angus Norman, Yard Rangers. Number 17, Rory Vial of Old Scotch. And rounding it out at number 18 of Diamond Valley is going to be Dylan Littlejohn. And as we watch this pack, they are going to move with speed and move together. So these guys aren't going to give each other too much room as they come through the first 100, and it is always a messy affair in a 1500. I've never, ever seen a clean start to a 1500 in the first 100 metres across my time in athletics. But right now, there's always one who strings it out, and it's going to be the tall, lanky figure of Murray Lavas.
Yeah.
So he had the hip number 1, and he had to get out quick, and that's exactly what he's done. So Lavas is going to lead a few of our shorter athletes behind him there. We got our Eureka Colours and
short
Charles
boys.
Chandler. He's going to go, hey, 6 foot Murray, feel free to break the wind for me, buddy. So on the outside there, Jack Ellis gets around Murray Lavas. So too Chandler tucked in beautifully. I reckon one to watch with hip number 11 is going to be James Paproth of Old Melburnians. With a 4:25 in the white shorts. You won't miss him on your screen, and he's going to move his way into the middle part of this race. So right now, though, Mick, Murray Lavas is going to lead out this big pack.
He does. They're stalking him, Mitch. They go through in about 68 seconds. They need a 70 if they want to keep on track for sub 4:25 here tonight. And it is not so easy being in Murray Lavas's situation. That was always my tactic. Get out fast, stay out of danger. If people want to pass me, they can do it. The only problem is when they don't pass you. They all just wait and wait and wait. Murray's an experienced runner. He's run 4 What has he run? He's run about the 4:25 mark before. He'll be comfortable there. He probably just wishes someone will give him a break soon. And let's see if
he'll get it. Well,
Ty Davis, it looks like, might give him that break that he's needing, as Davis is right up on his heels.
Well, Murray's at least strung this race out, and now we're going to start to see a gap form. So the one at the back of this pack is going to be Will Lovett. So Will Lovett right on the back. Murray Lavasse, we see a little trip there, but nothing too dangerous from our Glen Huntley athlete. But Murray Lavasse, as you mentioned, he does want to get out of trouble. He's got the long stride. I think myself and Jack Van Steck were called the pacemakers when we were younger, the amount we'd get out the front and then get swallowed late. So hopefully
it's
Murray
a tactic.
Lavasse,
it's not a good tactic, it's a tactic.
Can keep himself in front. And look at him, he's actually stretching them out here. So Ty Davis, as you mentioned, is going to be the one to sit there in second position. He's got a little bit of a gap, but Murray Lavasse running with confidence right now. If you run from the front and you go again and you push away, that's a confident athlete. So 600 metres to go. Lavasse, he's going to put 5 to 10 metres into the rest of it right now.
Love it. It's a time trial for him. He'd probably be a bit more comfortable at Box Hill, the home of PBs, but he is doing pretty well tonight. Duncan MacKinnon, the Holiday House of PBs. As he rounds the bend, 500 metres to go. That third lap is the all-important lap. That last 300 metres, you just hang on. But he's being stalked.
He is being absolutely collected right now by Will Lovett. So Will Lovett was at the back of that pack the last time we came around the start-finish line. And right now, Will Lovett, he's starting to stride away. He's going to tap, tap, tap right on the shoulder there of Murray Lavasse. He's not going to do it on the bend. There might be experienced here, Will Lovett, but now he's going to try and get there. But Murray Lavasse knows that inside is the key, and he's the lock. So right now, Will Lovett gets the key and unlocks the door. So he's going to try and move away from Murray Lavasse, who's done a lot of this work early. We see our boys towards the back of this pack as well start to move. And I believe our Eureka athlete, that is Charles Chandler. Watch out for Charles Chandler with 200 metres to go in third position. He might look far on the screen, but he certainly isn't on the track. Lavasse not done with yet, though. He's only 5 metres or so behind our man in Will Lovett. So Will Lovett, how much do you love it? 100 metres to go right now. He's going to try and move away. Lavasse is going to try and grit his teeth and get towards the front. Lovett, he's going to move away. Lavasse got the head wobbles right now, and it's not wobbling hard enough because Lovett's going to move away. And he's going to take the win here in the men's G1500. Bided his time well. He's going to take it. Lavasse in second. Now it's going to be Chandler, who did a lot of work late there as well. Now we start to see Jordan Michelle. Melbourne Uni's Cameron Lee comes through the line, and I reckon, Mick, I don't know, but were there some PBs across the board there?
I think there are a few there, and all I can say, mate, is we don't like cricket. We will love it. I reckon everyone in that race collected a PB.
That was fast.
And it keeps getting faster. The men F, 1,500 metres on the track. In saying that as well, PB's not too much faster than this race that we've just had. A lot of these athletes who have just raced would not be out of place in this upcoming race unless all of these athletes get PBs as well by about 5-10 seconds of the G race guys. All the G race boys are thinking, oh yeah, I'll get a race in the F next time. How good would that be? And then all the guys in the F are like, nah, no, you're not. They get the same PBs
E next time.
Heading down to around that 4.0s, 4.10s. It's getting exciting. It's getting pretty quick, no matter who you are. God, how cold is it in here? Is it like Antarctica or something? Far out, I'm shivering. Oh, goosebumps, bitch.
Hey, I brought a jumper. For the mighty Wake Forest Demon Deacons, 15th in the nation in the NCAA. Led by the man with the biggest nose in America, Jack Tiernan. Probably more Zach Faccioni, given he was All-American, so well done to Zach Faccioni and the Demon Deacons, but special place in my heart to Jack the Toucan Tiernan.
All right, and I'll read through the athletes, the competitors in this men's F 1,500 metres. In lane 1, we have Eric. You got Zach in my mind.
On you, Zach.
Eric Trinkle from Knox. In lane 2, Kevin Zhu from Glen Huntley. The home track advantage is all his tonight on those tight bends. Lane 3, Bevan does. Bevan does what? He is unattached. Lane 4, Alistair McDonald from the mighty Western Apps. Lane 5, Lachlan Welch from Williamstown. Lane 6, Daniel Cheever Lynch from St Stephen's Harriers. Lane 7, Blake Barnes from Diamond Valley. Lane 8, Logan Trickle from Keilor St Bernard's. Lane 9, Finn Horan unattached. Lane 10, Brandon Muscat, Western Athletics, the mighty Western Athletics, of course. Lane 11, Hamish Terrace. His teammate in lane 12 is Liam Ryan Nichols. In lane 13, it is Jackson Upthank. And lane 14, Hudson Bucci from Mentone. Lane 15, Jerry Stampoulis from Oldsavarians. To round out the field, lane 16, Aidan Valton from Glen Huntly. Another home track advantage to him. Lane 17, Elias Stott from Geelong Guild. And that is our 17 competitors as they round their first lap in a tick over 1 minute, around that 1:05, 1:06, 1:07 mark, which will see them heading for around a 4:12, if I'm not mistaken.
Around there. This guy excites me, Hudson Bucci of Mentone. He has a lot of talent. He's got a lot of patience when he runs as well. He knows how to bide his time, and he knows how to be able to find the pace, and he's found it right up the front right now. Eric Trinkle as well of Knox. He's going to sit right on the back of him. So this group hasn't seemed to broke up too much, or broken up, if I could use the proper English. So right now we're going to see Hudson Bucci. He's not afraid to lead it with a few hands up thrown in the pack saying, hey, boys, we're all mates here. We all want to run fast. Doesn't matter, though, because Hudson Bucci going to be the one to try and lead them through. Trinkle on the outside there, our Geelong Guild athlete too, not too far away, and Elias Stott. So watch the wheels on Elias Stott. The mighty Western A's, Alistair McDonald. He's right on the outside. So right now, Trinkle gets his way to the front. We're starting to see a few more moves made on the bend, which is interesting. It's always a bold tactic. More hands being thrown up in the pack there. So a lot of push and shove. Elias Stott, 4:18 to the PB. And our fastest man, Jerry Stamoulis of Oldsavarians, I'm not quite sure where he is in that pack, but hopefully he starts to show himself at some point during this race, because right now it is Elias Stott who's going to chase it for Geelong.
This is the tightest, or was the tightest, pack that we have seen in 1,500 metres so far. After 900 metres, you would expect them to string out, but they're only doing so right now. It is a race of anyone still. We have Stott leading them out, but we still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 athletes trailing fast. Alistair McDonald is leading that second pack. He's chasing it over 40 Western Athletics record. Let's see if we can get it there for him tonight. But it is Stott with 1 lap to go.
Bevan does.
3:07, 3:08. Bevan does is trailing. He's nipping at his heels. Does he pass on the bend? I hope not. He passes on the back straight, which would be the smart thing to do, although he does pass on the bend, wastes fewest metres. He'll be regretting that if he gets nipped by a couple of metres in the end. Check out our athlete there, who is in the orange. He's charging hard on Bevan Does' heels. He didn't even get a chance to get on his heels. He's straight past him. How's that? He's made up a gap of 10 metres and then he passed by 10 metres all at once. We haven't even called his name.
Liam Ryan Nichols is it leading out this race, I believe. I'm not 100% sure, but it's one of our Mornington Peninsula athletes. So Bevan does pass on the bend, but Bevan does not quite have the lead of this race. So right now we're going to see our Mornington Peninsula athlete. I believe it might be number 12, so it is Liam Ryan Nichols. So Ryan Nichols has powered away. He's moved away. The camera might not be big enough for Ryan Nichols right now, so he has absolutely flown to the finish line. Bevan does love a second place finish. Now we're going to see our man Hudson Bucci as well. So Lachlan Welch comes through. Now we're going to see Aidan Velton there of Glen Huntly. He's going to take it out. Eric Trinkle coming to the line too, but wow. I'll tell you what.
That was massive. 11-second PB, if you don't mind. Woo. Bevan does collects the second by a couple of PB by a couple of seconds there. That was a race. Well, that was talking about time trials, talking about PBs, but that was a race, Mitch.
That was just guts.
Talking about practice.
Nah, I'm talking about practice.
That was a race.
That was it. That is what you spend all those nights at your local athletic track for. Well done to those boys. He was just absolutely flying there. was about to get very confused just then. So don't remember Richardson being in that race. As on the start line now, we have our women's C 1500. So 16.
Things are starting to get quick.
16 women in this race. Here we go. You ready?
Yeah, go Mitch. You can do
Hit
it.
number 1, Brianna Kroll of Box Hill. Number 2, Sophie Bolmat of Sandringham. Number 3, Sarah Waters of Deakin. Number 4, Louise Ton of Box Hill. Number 5, Christine Ashton of Box Hill. Number 6, Louisa Lazar of Sandringham. Number 7, Abby Hickey of Sandringham. Number 8, Caitlin Barr of Glen Huntly. Number 9, Poppy O'Loughlin of Coburg. Number 10, Mia Lepere of Ballarat YCW. Number 11, Emily Bartlett of St Stephen's Harriers. Number 12, Fikey Vanderkamp of Diamond Valley. Number 13, Andrea De Jong of St Stephen's. Number 14, Matisse Lazari of Knox. Number 15, Nellie Mitchell of St Kevin's. And number 16, Stella Crawford of Rust of Boxville.
Oh, it is done it, ladies and gentlemen. I thought you were going to come unstuck there around the Andrea De Jong, lane 13. You almost started at St Kevin's and he got there. He got there.
I thought Fikey Vanderkamp might have got me, but lucky I've seen her race all across the summer.
What a treat for everyone who's tuned in right now. Whew. Can he call last name? Yes, he can. Does he know his club abbreviations? Yes, he does.
Don't know if that impresses anyone, but I'll be here for the rest of the night or all week. That would be quite sad. But we have 16 talented women on the start line right now. And looking at the PBs, about 10, 13 second spread. 10, 13.
What is the best of them? About a 4:55 we have from Matisse Lazari of St Kevin's. Matisse Lazari of Knox. 4:55, so they'll be hovering around that 80-second mark. Maybe a little bit quicker. Always good to bank a little bit of time in those 1500s. Yeah. Just a couple of seconds in the first couple of laps.
On your marks.
So it might be about 78, 79 second laps. We will see as the athletes charge their way up the first 100 of 1,500 metres.
So these girls, very, very bunched, Mick. So I think they're just going to try and wait, I think, to see who's going to break it up. And there's always one athlete who's more than happy to get towards the front.
There has to be, mate. There's always one. Just from the the virtual natural selection. There's sometimes two, but it's unusual.
By God, you're right. I haven't figured that out all this time.
There's always one.
There's always one.
And if we can see that hip number, it's
De Jong.
Andrea De Jong of St Stephen's Harriers, who rounds the bend, rounds that front straight. 3 laps to go in first place. Matisse Lazari, the fastest seated athlete, just on her heels there. There's always one, and that is Andrea De Jong. 2 would be Matisse Lazari, and then the rest of them. So they want to go sub 80. They're well under that. They'll be going for that first lap in 76, 77 seconds, setting them up nicely for around a 450 to 455, 1,500 metres. They're still quite nicely bunched, which lends it very nicely to a few athletes. Watch a few athletes sitting 4th, 5th, 6th in the pack, and let's see what they're going to do as the race progresses.
Yeah, I reckon if they can stay within touch, a lot of the time you can get out of the middle of that pack, having really not given a lot of thought to the race and really start to use your energy well. But it is still De Jong who's more than happy to lead it out. She's obviously set the pace. If she can stay around comfortable, or even if she's not comfortable right now, she's doing a really good job for this race right now to try and set this pace. So these ladies, they haven't broken up at all, and we're even going wide right now.
Yeah, I was about to say, Mitch, I'm not sure who that is, but keep an eye on this woman who has gone wide. That is Sarah Waters from Deakin. She went wide around the bend. You saw her coming up from 6th or 7th position, and now she makes her way into the lead almost. Well, we said there's always one, but in this case there really is 2 right now going around that bend.
Yes, not always one.
Woodhead.
Most of the time one.
Aren't you the silly one, Mitch? Heading for a time of 2:36 or under, and they well and truly do that. Half the pack is under 5:55.
I feel like I haven't known athletics until now. Yeah, that I've worked this out.
Nice.
So these women, I mean, it looks like they're well spread, but to be honest, anybody can make a move over this final 600 metres. It's really in this next 200 where you're going to see the race take shape. As when the bell comes, it starts to just become a kicker's affair. So if you can get yourself into a good spot over the next 200 metres, you're really going to shape it up. And as I say that now, these packs starting to separate a little bit. So we're going to see this front 5 really start to test it. So we see Sarah Waters there on the outside. She sat on that outside for that
She doesn't mind the outside, does she? Riding those
sat
bends.
there the whole way. She seems more than happy to sit there a little bit longer. She just can't quite get herself to the rail right now. So watch out for Fikey Vanderkamp as well behind her there. And on the inside, the one who's been able to maintain it has been Lazari. So Lazari, outside Waters starts pumping the arms, and now she goes. So it wasn't a tactical thing, or it was a tactical thing to sit on the outside right now. So Waters goes past Lazari. Fikey Vanderkamp on the inside there for Diamond Valley, but Waters has bided her time. She did her work on the outside, and now she gets to the inside with 300 metres to go. But watch out for our early race leader in Lazari. She did a lot of the work, and she's not done with yet. So I think Waters thought that she could break a spirit. She might have only strengthened it. So 250 metres to go now. It's going to be Waters. Lazari not far away right now, right on the outside. Mick, 200 metres to go. Lazari, she hasn't done a lot of work on the outside, but now she might have to get moving around Waters. Absolutely.
We have a race on our hand. All of a sudden, the races are starting. Forget about time trials. It is 1 versus 2 right now in Lazari and Waters. Has Waters gone too early? Will all that running around the bends cost her in lane 2 and 3? And Lazari is the one going around the bend now, getting up on Waters' shoulders into the front straight. 100, 90, 80, 70 metres to go. Waters is pulling something out, has that last minute kick away from Lazari. She's got that experience, and she will collect a PB. 446, 447 for Lazari. Couple of PBs for the girls. Louisa Lazar in third position there, also collecting a PB by a few seconds. What a race. That was a race.
That was, you've really just got to put it all the line there in the last 50 metres, and Waters was able to just hold on. I thought she might have got taken by Lazari there, so really, really tough running to hold on there. So great racing by our women in the C1500. It has been a classy night of racing across the board, as it only gets quicker from here on out. So we have our men's E 1500 metres on the line. And let's see. I'll have another crack here. Hip number 1, we have Alistair Strutt, unattached. Number 2, Ethan Grills of Geelong Guild. Number 3, Seth Chan, Melbourne Uni. Number 4, Tom Forster, St Kevin's. Number 5, Scott Benedict of Ringwood. Number 6, Matthew Patton of Knox. Number 7, Lachlan Aspinall, St Stephen's. Number 8, Tommy Cluckow, Old Scotch. Number 9, Jack Bowen, St Kevin's. Number 10, Glenn McMillan of SPA. Number 11, Oliver Armstrong, Geelong Guild. Number 12, Daniel Malone of Knox. Number 13, Clary McIntyre, Box Hill. Number 14, Robert Barber, Old Scotch. Number 15, Samuel Rattray, Box Hill. Number 16, Alexander Gibson, Mentone. Number 17, Keith Scott of Ballarat Harriers. And number 18, Cameron Clayton, unattached. Damn it. Good quality field, though. Only 5 seconds separating these guys. So a lot of .0s on here. So hoping that some of these guys have put down times that they really want to race tonight, which is totally fine. But we do have a few here. Lockie Aspinall of St Stephen's has been around the traps for a while, so he knows how to race. Ethan Grills, a good strong competitor from Geelong Guild. So these guys on your marks and racing. So they're going to try and make their way through, and it's from the inside. Old Scotch, though, I reckon. Robert Barber or Tommy Cluckow.
Tom Forster could be right up there, the athlete from St Kevin's by the looks of it. Lockie Aspinall from St Stephen's is right in the mix as well. So at times of 66, 67 seconds, they will be looking to go through to collect a 4:10 for their 1,500 metres of running.
So these guys are very tightly bunched. And I reckon that the further up the races go, the more bunched these packs get. The time discrepancy amongst them all starts to get smaller, starts to get shorter, but these guys, they're going to find their way around. Clary McIntyre running wide as wide can be, as we see Keith Scott. He's going to lead this group out. And
Daniel Malone right there as well.
Yeah, Daniel Malone there of Knox, coached
Someone's
by Gavin
running
Burrow.
in lane 4 right around that bend.
He's running about an extra 50 metres
That
if he's going to go lane 4.
Is
around the bend.
dense.
Wow. Wow.
So right around that pace of, well, they're on about 4:07, 4:08 pace right now. It's a matter of whether a few of these guys will have a kick down. When you get to this speed, you're probably not going to bank too much time early on, and they'll be looking to run it fairly evenly with a bit of a kick for most of these athletes here. And there might be a few athletes who are just hanging on. Lachlan Aspinall, he might be one to watch. He's sitting in 3rd position right now, 4th position.
He knows how to race, Lachie Aspinall. He's been doing it for years and years and years, and these boys are cooking right now. What are they cooking?
What are they cooking? I was going to ask Mitch. Funny you say that.
Well, hopefully it's good. Big shout out to the boys who love that one. So right now we've got Geelong Guild athlete Oliver Armstrong. He's going to lead them out, and Cluckow behind him there. So Aspinall on the inside puts his hand out in the middle of that pack and says, hey, can we get a bit of space, please, right now? So it is still going to be our Geelong Guild athlete there in Oliver Armstrong. He's starting to get himself out of trouble. We spoke about it. If you got that long stride, getting to the front necessarily is not the worst thing, as we now see our boys move their way around him.
Is that Jack Bowen of...
Jack Bowen?
Jack Bowen of St Kevin's,
Jack
one of the
Bowen.
St Kevin's boys. Tom Forster's a bit further back in the pack. It would be his teammate in Bowen who's leading the way ahead of Ollie Armstrong.
Good work across the summer by Jack Bowen. He's been in just about every race you could possibly imagine. So he's going to get his chance now at the front to set the tempo and try and make these boys play into his hands. As I mentioned as well, watch out for Ethan Grills, the big looming figure of Geelong Guild on the outside with the blonde hair. He has a lot of strength over the latter part of these races, so it'll be interesting to see how he goes. But right now it is Bowen on the inside, Grills on the outside. Watch Lachie Aspinall. He might even run out into lane 8 just to have fun to get around these boys right now. So have a go at reading this pack right now. Keith Scott, strap yourself in. If you've gone away to get a snack, I'd come back and strap in, because this is about to be a bumpy ride. 350 metres to go. Hey, Mick, it's a race on our hands.
Absolutely. They're right on pace for around that 4:10, 4:08 even, that a lot of the front guys are looking for. It could be anyone's race. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 athletes out the front. I can't call it, although let's go Tommy Cluckow for argument's sake. The athlete in red from Old Scotch is right up the back of that pack, and he is getting on the shoulder of Scott. He passes him with gusto, making himself into 4th position, but he's up the front of the pack. Is that Aspinall who's leading the way, Mitch?
No, I think Aspinall's sitting there in 3rd position. So we have our other St Stephen's Harriers athlete there leading us out, and right behind him there is going to be McMillan. So right now Aspinall gets on the outside. He's run the outside the entire way. McMillan right behind there. McMillan on the shoulder now. Aspinall further on the shoulder. McMillan going to lead him through, and it is going to be Glenn McMillan who takes it. Aspinall there for 2nd. Cameron Clayton's going to settle for 3rd. So too is Ethan Grills behind him there. But McMillan, well, they dug deep and he dug deeper. And so McMillan takes the win there. A sensational effort. Aspinall on the outside, as we mentioned, an experienced racer. And he probably thought he'd timed that to perfection, but just missed in the end there.
Just seeing a few more, like a few of these races now, more and more athletes just missing out on PBs. A few of the front athletes may be still getting there if they're having good runs, but becomes harder and harder to do. These athletes are getting a bit older as well. As you have more races under your belt, it gets harder to knock off those vital seconds. So it is making the racing interesting, turning these races into races rather than time trials tonight at the party house of PBs at Duncan MacKinnon.
The frat house of PBs. Wow, 17 names.
All right, I'll go for it.
You got it?
Yeah,
right,
just give me a bit of time. Give me some time to prepare though.
No, you.
I have to just go with it.
Yeah, just what feels natural. They're still doing run-throughs, these guys. They're giving you time.
Okay, all right, let's go for it. So in lane 1 from the Mighty Western Athletics, do I have to do a little thing after each one, or just name and club fine?
This is mixed. This is mixed
moment. All right. Lane 1, Kirk Shanahan from the Mighty Western Athletics. Lane 2.
Okay, so you will be doing it.
Ned Bucko from Bendigo. Lane 3, Matthew Venor from Knox. Lane 4, Michael Kernahan from Mentone. Lane 5, Joshua Augustinas from Old Zavarians. Lane 6, brother, uncle or dad of Ned Buckle, Matthew Buckle from Bendigo. Lane 7, Robert Wheats from Mighty Western Athletics. Lane 8, Tommy Morris from Sandringham. Lane 9, Archie Reid from Bendigo. Lane 10, Benjamin Baisha from Old Scotch. Lane 11, Michael Martello from Essendon. Lane 12, Fred Leeton from Old Scotch. Lane 13, Mitchell Langbourne from Keyless and Bernards. Lane 14, Toby Griffith from Box Hill. Lane 15, Marco Pitisano from Essendon. Glad I got that one right. That just rolled off the tongue. Lane 16, Liam Morgan from the Mighty Western Athletics. And lane 17, Matthew Sestarik from Essendon. Thank you. I thought that went okay.
Well. Yeah, I reckon
I thought
that.
With a couple of tongue twisters in there, but I think overall that went well.
Yeah, I thought hip number 7, Robert Wheats.
Now, I know Robert Wheats, so that was an easy one for me. Pitisano.
Yeah, Pitisano.
I thought I saw that name coming down the list. I thought, oh, no. And then as I just said it,
right.
it just, yeah.
Rolled off the tongue.
So PBs ranging, they're really close. 406 or 405 through to 409. So this pack is going to be dense. Denser than a loaf of sourdough bread, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, yeah, smashed Avo.
Smashed over on sourdough. How good.
Kirk Shanahan, your boy, he's going to lead us out.
Well, he won the 1,000 metre race, not the championships, obviously, at the Box Hill Burn, but
Kirk.
he won his heat at the 1,000 metres. He's running with confidence to close out this season. And, he's been running quick all season, so he will be chasing a PB. It's 4:05, as is the PB of Ned Buckle, Matthew Venor, Matthew Buckle as well. A few of these athletes, 4:05 is the mark they'll be looking for. So 65 seconds per lap, we'll get them there.
Well, if you want to run a time, you send Mickey Kernahan to the front. I told you, this man is the metronome. He will get you where you need to be. Watch out for Fred Leeton as well, a young athlete from Old Scotch. These Old Scotch stables are starting to get a few good fillies in them. So watch out for Fred Leeton there. He's going to tuck in on the rail, but Mickey Kernahan's going to lead us through.
It was too slow for him, mate.
Yeah,
Kernahan, he said, I know what I need to do. I know my paces. 65 seconds. I think it might have just been 66, but he's put his foot on the gas now, and already what was a dense pack has turned into a long train.
You would genuinely
at Duncan
love
MacKinnon.
getting into a race with Michael Kernahan, because you just
if you're running at his pace.
Yeah, you just know, oh, well, at some point, the pace is going to come back anyway, so it should be all good. So Mickey Kernahan, never afraid to leave, and I hope everyone gives him a big handshake or a COVID-safe cuddle at the end of this race for all the work that he does every time he steps his foot on the track.
Mitchell,
so right now, Mickey Kernahan, who's that on the outside?
Mitchell Langbourne just coming up in his shoulder. Archie Reid from Bendigo up on the shoulder of Kernahan as well, and nipping the heels of Mitchell Langbourne. So here's Langbourne, Archie Reid. Baisha coming up on the corner on the shoulder of Kernahan as well. Kirk Shanahan from the Mighty Western Avs up on the heels of Reid. They're all heading for low 4 minutes. That would be a fantastic result for everyone in this race. 2:09, 2:10 going through. They're right on pace for a 4:05. So it is Mitchell Langbourne, Archie Reid. Is it Ben Baisha?
I believe it is.
Kirk Shanahan slipping back in that pack now, as is Michael Kernahan, Mitch.
Yeah, so Langbourne, he is a tough competitor, and he knew exactly where he wanted to be in this race, and he's put himself right there. So 1 becomes 3 metres, maybe it'll become 5. So Langbourne now, he's going to lead us out. Right behind him there is our man from Bendigo, looking incredibly strong, and that is going to be Ned Buckle. So Ned Buckle sitting there in second place.
So it's not a father-uncle relationship. Yeah. It's probably brothers, we're going to say.
I think they may be brothers, these boys.
Ned and Matthew Buckle both listed 4:05 as their PBs.
And they're right there together, I believe, these two Buckle boys. So right now it's still going to be Mitch Langbourne, and I reckon watch out for hip number 6, and that is the Buckles. So here we go. So Buckle now. Mitch Langbourne's still leading them out. He's looking strong with 3:50 to go. Watch Baisha, and so too your man Kirk Shanahan. He's not going to be far away, I reckon. So Shanahan starts to lope along as he starts to get into the back straight right now. Mitch Langbourne still got his foot on the gas. The gas, I should say. Who's reaching for the clutch. We're going to see who's going to move through the gears right now. So Mitch Langbourne still on the inside. Wants to keep that position right there as the rest of our field comes around. Watch out for Kirk Shanahan, I reckon. reckon. He's still dangerous right now, Mick, as they head in. 180 to go.
Absolutely. They are on sub-4 minute pace if they work hard over this last 150 metres, which they're absolutely doing. The young Mitch Langbourne enters the final straight in first position, but he is closely followed by the Buckle boys. They have not been buckled tonight. Matthew is leading the way ahead of brother Ned, and Mitchell Langbourne chasing hard. Are they going to go sub-4? Yes, they will. The Buckle boys, Mitchell Langbourne, Archie Reid, Kirk Shanahan, all in this low 4 minutes. Woo. Fast times. So many of the boys under 4:08, so they had as their PBs.
Or cousins, whatever they are.
So Matthew Buckle, Ned Buckle, and Mitchell Langbourne, all or maybe just under 4 minutes. Archie Reid, Kirk Shanahan, just over 4 minutes. Some quick racing. PBs of 4:05 to 4:09, and a few boys have gone sub for the first time. That's unreal.
You never forget when you go under. It's always a great moment. So that was absolutely flying there.
Training partners, obviously, up at Bendigo, just definitely helps. Same singlet, training partners.
So.
All right, and women's B. So what we have, we're getting to the pointy end now.
We've got men's C,
5 races.
B, A, women's A after this.
Men's C, men's and women's B, and men's and women's A. So women's B, 1,500 metres. Your starters are in lane 1, Matilda Strugnall from Sandringham. Lane 2, Tully Rowe from Bendigo. Lane 3, Ali Brooks from Diamond Valley. Lane 4, Nissa Males from Williamstown. Lane 5, Jessie Main from Diamond Valley. Lane 6, Natasha Rourke from Williamstown. Lane 7, Nicolette Lesberg from Mentone. Lane 8, Alexandra Schultz from Williamstown. Lane 9, Tess Rhodes from Deakin. Lane 10, Monique Goldsworthy from Williamstown. So far, there's about 5 or 6 girls in this race, coached by Liz Matthews. Lane 11, Rachel White from Doncaster. Lane 12, Neve Tabbert from Coburg. Lane 13, another Team Matthews athlete and Williamstown athlete in Abby Goldsworthy. And lane 14, Noah Sarup from Mentone.
I'll tell you what, Mick, if somebody asked me, hey, Mitch, what'd you learn in 2020, 2021? I'd say, I learned that Rachel White loves the lead. So she's just been taken over right now, but this Doncaster athlete absolutely
loves it. Doesn't mean she gets it.
She just missed it. She just had it when I said that. So that's very, very, very awkward. But anyway,
I
she still loves the lead.
I did like it.
Goldsworthy, I think she said, Mitch, can you...
She loves it more. That's what you learned.
Yeah. And the other thing I learned was Monique Goldsworthy loves the lead at Duncan MacKinnon Reserve. So right now, as we're going to head our way around to the 400 metres, Goldsworthy is going to stretch them out right now. So what may have seemed to be a pack race early is now certainly going to be a race where these women are going to have the ability to be able to find their space right now. A talented core of women racing in this B 1,500 metres. And as shown by the pace right now being set by Monique Goldsworthy. So Goldsworthy has a couple of metres, I would say 2. Maybe you were going to extend it out to 5 as we head around 500 metres into this race right now. As we see the rest of this pack now try and find their position. Not a lot of jostling, which is good. So they're going to let everybody be able to find their feet and also find a fast time at that rate. So Monique Goldsworthy right now outside on her own. And we're going to see who's going to be able to pick her up and maybe bring the rest of this pack through at the same time. So Goldsworthy happy to be on her own right there. I'm not sure if you can get a read who that is in second. Let's make it third. I believe that
number
is
1 in Matilda Strugnall from
Sandringham.
Tully Rowe of Bendigo. Neve Tabbert from Coburg will round out your top 4 at this point. Jessie Main from Diamond Valley and Abby Goldsworthy of Williamstown are all in the mix there. Are they going to bridge that gap towards Monique Goldsworthy, who is holding that lead ever so strongly? They are heading for a time of around 4:45 if they come through this first 800 metres in around 2:30, which they well and truly do. So still Goldsworthy, she's being chased, almost passed by Matilda Strugnall of Sandringham, and she does get past on that back straight. Sister Abby Goldsworthy is right there as well. Jessie Main from Diamond Valley is in that leading pack. She is the one trailing. It is Tully Rowe from Bendigo who is actually leading the race. So Tully Rowe, Jessie Main, Matilda Strugnall are your top three right now, as Monique Goldsworthy just fades ever so slowly back into fourth position. Let's see how they go over that final 500 metres.
Yeah, so Tally Rowe going to really make them work for it. She obviously went around the outside there up the back straight. Now she's going to put her foot on it. So right now, it's Tally Rowe who's going to lead it out. And she's going to lead it ahead of, I believe that is May... Who is that? Diamond Valley? No, I take that back. That's actually going to be Ali Brooks. So Ali Brooks
Ali
right
Brooks,
behind her
Diamond
there.
Valley.
So Tally Rowe, and also going to be, I take that back, Jessie Main. So Jessie Main is going to sit behind there. Tana, she moves her way around. She's not behind. She's gone to the front. So she's moved right around Tally Brooks. Jessie Main now, she's going to make sure that Tally Brooks knows that she is a force to be reckoned with, and she's going to try and move away, and move away she does right now. So 300 metres to go. Jessie Main now, she's going to try and extend it, because the final 200 is always the grit and grind time. And right now she's going to take the sting out of the legs up the back straight. So it is all Jessie Main. A time of 4:47 for her PB. So it'll be interesting to see how she goes over this final 200 metres. And the rest of this pack now going to try and pick up Tally Rowe as well. So it is all Jessie Main from Diamond Valley. Tally Rowe still not too far away, but I think far enough that she might not be able to challenge Jessie Main with 150 metres to go. She arches the back and accelerates away right now. So 120 metres left in this race. Jessie Main, let's try and watch the clock and see what she does run. She's got 4:26 on it as she comes into the home straight. So Jessie Main is clear. Tally Rowe has some challenging behind her there to try and hold on for that second place, and she won't be able to do it. So Jessie Main is going to be able to take the win here. A 4:47 was her PB. And did she get under it there? I'm not quite sure. The one who was fast finishing there was Natasha Rourke.
Hadn't mentioned her name all race, and collects a 7-second PB in second position. Natasha Rourke from Williamstown. Awesome run. Gutsy runs from a bunch of the athletes. Few lead changes there. Some quick finishes. So 4 races to go in this evening of racing. 29 races down, 4 to go. Men's C coming up next. And Carlton have almost hit lead, Mitch.
Yeah, they're in front. They're in front, the Blues. But if I know anything, they will break your heart. So I'm probably glad I'm not watching it. Or, yeah, my neighbours. 54-58 in the third quarter.
But, you know, keep that one on mute on the background. You can listen and watch to our live stream, of course, in the forefront. Yeah. If you're a Carlton or Richmond fan.
Yeah.
Or otherwise, it is a close game, though.
Yeah, don't worry about it. If you're a Carlton supporter, don't get your hopes up. You know the drill. So right now, just like that, we're 3 points down. So, Men's C, 1,500. 17 names.
And you will read them out.
You ready? Hip number 1, David Grieg of Ivanhoe. Number 2, Jack Scammell, ALB. Number 3, Luke Sin, Doncaster. Number 4, Caleb Sin, Doncaster. Number 5, Jacob Bell, Keilor St Bernards. Number 6, Patrick Matthews, Keilor St Bernards. Number 7, Sam Alberston of Mentone. Number 8, Jaron Hobbs of Geelong Guild. Number 9, Logan Janetsky of Glen Huntley. Number 10, John Portwood of Doncaster. Number 11, Tom McFarlane of Glen Huntley. Number 12, Samuel Tonnell, Glen Huntley. Number 13, Sam Bunnage of Mentone. Number 14, Jesse Dunsmore of Frankston. Number 15, Toby O'Brien of St Stephen's. Number 16, Josh McLeod of Box Hill. And number 17, Angus Dalton of Old Zavarians. We're in the starters' hands and now we're out of them. So the men are underway here in the C1500. And this is going to be a quick start, I reckon. These boys aren't going to want to mess around, these gentlemen. So right now they're going to move their way through a good pack.
It looks like a stampede out there.
I think there's going to be...
I wouldn't want to be lying down the track. I don't know why anyone would be.
Is there going to be two? Is there going to be two at the front? No, just one. Just one.
There's always one, Mitch. You should know that. There's always one.
There is always one at the front. And right now, I believe, is that our unattached...
Yeah, athlete with the KC Cardinia singlet on.
Is he?
Who would be
it looked
unattached.
Like the TC.
Oh, it's a pacemaker, Mitch. It is a pacemaker out the front. And who is settling himself in a second position is Sam Toll of Glen Huntley. The boys are heading for 4 minutes or under 4 minutes for the first time. And 64 seconds is the lap split they will be looking for. So
Sammy Toll's done it. He's gone under 4 minutes according to his PB here.
He would be looking to go further under is what I meant to say.
We've almost had the bulk of that pack just fall over there. So a lot of that's been happening tonight. Still going. There's a lot of pushing and shoving in that pack. So it is
racing, Mitch. It's not time trialling anymore. We are racing
right now. So I think that's Lockie Hurd who's going to be our pacemaker leading us around. And Toll, he stayed out of all that pushing and shoving. Obviously, he wants to be able to keep himself in the clear to be able to get well and truly under that 3:59 mark he's got down in his PB. So these boys now, if they haven't found their position, they've been pushed into it. So right now the pack starting to act a little bit more civilised. Josh McLeod makes his way to the outside right now. Jesse Dunsmore also on the outside there. Toby O'Brien on the inside, but it is Toll. And on the outside of him there is going to be Angus Dalton of Old Zavarians. David Grieg through there. Also too is going to be still O'Brien.
Right in the mix. Yeah. The athlete from the Doncaster Athletics Club with the yellow singlet is sitting in about third position there behind the pacemaker, tucked in very, very nicely as they go through their first 800 metres in 2:06. That is about your 3:55, 3:56 pace. The boys roll
now,
on.
Mick, Angus Dalton is going to be the one to take it up because Lockie Hurd has stepped off the track. So right now it's big boy racing. There's nobody there going to drag you through. You're going to make the pace, you make it on your own. So Dalton's more than happy to keep it up. Toll the one starting to slip back a little bit there on the inside. Behind him there is still Toby O'Brien. And as you mentioned, I believe that actually may be our man from Mentone in Sam Albiston starting to make his way through and around somewhere in that pack. So Doncaster
way back in the pack yet, Mitch. Yes.
Yes. Sitting on the outside, O'Brien on the inside, and right on the outside, comfortably right now is
Luke Scammell.
Scammell on the outside of Angus Dalton. Angus Dalton happy to lead him round and through. Sin looking really, really strong on the outside there, but they're going to go wide on the bend, so they might pay for that a little bit later, as you mentioned earlier in the night, Mick. But Angus Dalton, he's been able to keep his foot on the gas for the majority of this race. 300 metres to go. Let's see who takes over.
Check out Jack Schammel, the athlete from Albury. He's travelled a long way to be here tonight, and he's looking to make the trip worth it. It is two people leading the race at the moment, not just one. It's almost three. Schammel, Toll, Dalton. Who is that who has charged their way into the lead? It is the teammate, Logan Janetsky, I believe. Logan Janetsky is up on Dalton's shoulder. Is he going to charge ahead as they enter the front straight? Who will it be? Dalton is holding strong. He's charging away 70, 80 metres. Toll is not going to let him get the win too easily tonight. He came here for a PB and the win as well. Toll, Dalton. Toll ahead of Dalton. 3:57 and a whole bunch under 3:59. Top 8 athletes under 3:59. A swagger of PBs on the track.
I'll tell you what, Logan Janetsky had a 4:04 PB before tonight.
Yeah, massive and young athlete as well. That's
absolutely flying.
You can see about 8 or 9 blokes on the track there going sub 4 minutes for the first time. You can retire now off that.
Look at their reactions too. There's about 8 or 9 blokes who may have to be swept off the track.
Yeah.
Right now. So great racing.
Unreal.
And I'd love to get the official time on that. I think a lot of these boys will be waiting to see whether they just dipped under or just sat over. And I think you might be right, Mick. I reckon they've just gone under.
Fingers crossed for the lads. 3 races to go, Mitch.
Only 3.
Only 3. So we have our men's B, 1500 right now, and then to follow, right on time as Milers Club always is, 9:31. We have our women's A, 1500, 9:37, men's A, 1500. Don't go anywhere though, because when one race finishes, the next will begin. As we have our men's
Is that how
B.
it works?
You haven't been around athletics for too long, mate. You know that's how it should. You know how that's how it should work.
I'm just learning.
Not to.
I'm still learning.
In lane 1, we have Alistair Christie from Doncaster. Lane 2 from Robert Eccleton, unattached. Lane 3, William Gabellotto, one of the best names in athletics. Sandringham. Lane 4, Ethan McMinimy from Mighty Western Athletics. Lane 5, Joshua Collins from St Kevin's. Lane 6, Michael Marantelli from Victorian Cross Country League. Hey, bet you didn't know that abbreviation. It's not bad, VCL.
I wouldn't have got that.
There you go, Michael Marantelli, Victorian Cross Country League. Lane 7, Dion Kenzie, record holder in the... is unattached, 3:58 PB. Lane 8, Jai Hadfield of Knox. Lane 9, YouTube sensation Isaac Biblay from Box Hill. Lane 10, Alexander Angus from Old Melburnians. Lane 11, Riley Borthwick, unattached. Lane 12, Reese Hadfield from Knox. Lane 13, Caelan Goldsmith, Mornington Peninsula. Lane 14, Tom Bowers from Old Scotch. Lane 15, Caden Murray from Diamond Valley. And lane 16, Bailey Morrell of Knox to round out the field of 16 PBs ranging from 3:54 to 3:58. They'll be looking to go through in 62 seconds per lap.
So I believe if this is the Dion Kenzie that we know, he is an athlete in the T38.
That's right. Didn't know the classification off the top of my head. T38, and he is the Australian record holder in that classification for the 1500 metres. And he's gone sub 4 minutes a couple of times in the last few weeks. So let's see if he can go further sub 4 tonight. So Dion Kenzie, he has hip number 7. We'll be keeping an eye on him as the race progresses.
Yeah, and so these guys, Hurd's going to be the one to lead them out still. So he's going to try and find that comfortable position. And I believe that is going to be Joshua Collins. So Garbellotto not far behind him there. We see Dion Kenzie settle towards the back of this pack as well. So do watch out for him because he does have a lot of speed towards the latter parts of these races. Isaac Babile towards the back of there, but don't worry about those guys right now because Lockie Hurd has been obviously given a pace and he's waiting for someone to just breathe down the back of his neck and try and chase it up, and that's what they're going to do now. So our St Kevin's athlete is going to be the one to lead it out, and that's Joshua Collins. He's been leading it for the predominant version or the predominant time of this first 500 metres of the race, and so now he's going to start to have his lead taken away from, I believe, by a mighty Western A's athlete. So I'll leave that one to you, Mick.
That'd be Ethan McMinimy is our mighty Western athlete who has taken the lead. He is leading a thick pack who follows him 500 metres into this 1500 metre event.
So our Victorian Cross Country League, Michael Marantelli, he has moved his way beautifully on the outside of there. Jai Hadfield also starting to move through. So too, sorry, not Jai Hadfield, that is going to be Reese Hadfield.
Brother Reese.
So Reese Hadfield is the one who's going to look really comfortable on the inside there with the long hair. But this pack, throw a blanket over it right now. There hasn't been a lot of separation. There's been a few changes towards the front. But outside of that, and bang, once again, we see our St Kevin's athlete now. He's going to get back there, Joshua Collins. So he's going to take over. He just said, I had a breather, boys. Now it's time to race. So he has 600 metres to go left in this men's B 1500. And now let's see them start to ramp it up right now. So there's about a pack of 10, Mick, who are all going to work well together, and they could literally come from anywhere right now. No one's out of this race, and that's the most exciting part about it. So 500 metres to go. The second last time they're going to grace this home straight race now, and it's still going to be Collins who's going to lead them out. McMinimy on his outside. So too Hadfield and our other Knox swagger athletes as well going to make their presence known. Bailey Morrell not far out of it. Marantelli, geez, he's a class act on the outside right now, but it is McMinimy. It's all me right now. So he gets to the front. Watch out for Marantelli, I reckon, and so too going to be our man Jai Hadfield. Hadfield. So here we go, Mick, 350 to go, and now we're going to get moving.
Absolutely, and keep an eye on Dion Kenzie in the red singlet. Out the back of that pack, he is chasing a 358, and the front of the pack is on a low 350 pace as McMenemy extends his lead. Marantali is chasing fast. He's an experienced runner, and he's getting up on the heels of McMenemy as this race progresses. Josh Collins is holding that third position, just gets past from the athlete Sandringham. That may be William Garbelotto, but McMenemy and Marantali, it is a race of two out the front as they enter the front straight for the final time. It is a race of two. They're going to go in the low 350s. Garbelotto, Collins, they're all there. Keep an eye on Dion Kenzie's time as well. He's the one in the red vest, bit further back in the race. But McMenemy, is he going to go sub 350 for the first time? 49, he'll go just over 351 for McMenemy. Garbelotto, Dion Kenzie, 355, another Aussie record in the T38 class for Dion Kenzie. 355, third PB and third record over the distance in as many weeks.
Well, that was impressive.
Huge.
That's just great racing there from our men's B 1500.
Excitement levels.
I thought he was going to get there almost under that 350.
His what was his PB? 354, I think.
Yeah.
So 350 is one of the up-and-coming stars who has well and truly taken my place in the Div 1 Western Apps relay teams. Div 2, Div 3 even.
Surely not. I don't believe it.
Oh, believe it, mate. Well, if these next two races are exciting as the last two or three races,
then we're in for something
we're in
special.
for a treat. Somebody take care of us. Make sure we don't pass out here in the box from excitement.
There's a fair chance.
Tim Crosby just given a stadium announcement in case anyone doesn't have Wi-Fi on their phones or the AFL app. But yeah, it's a close footy match, but it's going to be even closer racing here tonight. Duncan MacKinnon at the party house of PBs, Mitch.
As I said, Carlton will let you down, so don't worry about the footy. Honestly, it's fine.
Okay, is it you or is it me?
It's you.
Okay, it's all me. Hip 1.
I believe in you.
Madeline Murray from St Stephen's. Hip 2. Gemma Maney from Frankston. Hip 3, Rebecca Waters from Deakin. Hip 4, Charlotte Wilson of Essendon. Hip 5, Megan Dixon of Deakin. And may I say, all very, very familiar names here at Milers Club so far. Hip 6, Emma Hogan from Glen Huntly. Hip 7, Claudia Hollingsworth, your 1,000 metre Australian under 20 record holder. Hip number 8, Kiara Flavel from Yarra Rangers. Hip 9, Georgia Hansen from Melbourne University. Hip number 10, Simone Miller-Durrett from Collingwood. Hip number 11, Gigi McEnany from South Melbourne. Hip number 12, Stephanie Condagonis from St Bernard's. Hip number 13, Shania Murray from Diamond Valley. And to round out the field, it's only fitting that it is an athlete from the mighty, mighty Western Athletics in Abigail Thomas. We love those Western athletes.
Yeah, we do. And these girls are now really strung out in this first, the A race of the women's 1500. And that just means it's going to be a really high caliber race. You have a lot of high caliber names in here. Obviously,
Georgia
Claudia
Hansen,
Hollingsworth
Madeline
has
Murray.
had a lot of attention recently, and it is extremely well deserved. She is a phenomenal young talent, as you mentioned, coached by the great Craig Mottram. So we see Georgia Hansen get right on the outside of Madeline Murray there, and tucked in beautifully behind is going to be Emma Hogan. Charlotte Wilson not far away from it, so too Megan Dixon, and Gemma Maney right behind them there. So this front pack, I would say, of 6 women that is there, are going to be able to separate a little bit from our next pack of athletes. And that's going to be Simone Miller-Durrett of Collingwood, or Maladay, I should say, that is, sitting behind there. So Maladay of Collingwood, she's going to lead through the second pack.
How's
Dixon
your
now
French?
starting to fall off. Well, I got told off at the Victorian Championship, so I had to learn all the names as best I could. And so these women now are really going to stretch it out. This front three, they're not going to wait around for anybody. Right on the shoulder there is going to be Hansen, who's very well known to be able to push the pace and find one that's really comfortable for her. She's doing a bit of work on the outside shoulder right now, but this lead three is really going to make the rest of them work for it. Gemma Maney going to be the one to just fall off the outside there, and it is Madeline Murray nicely on the inside. So Madeline Murray, Georgia Hansen, just going to work her way towards the front, I think. She's more than happy to sit on the outside of lane one right now. Really find the pace under her legs and find it comfortably, but it is going to be Madeline Murray on the inside. Hansen just tucked in nicely on the outside there, and so too Emma Hogan. We see our Frankston athlete in Gemma Maney behind there, and Charlotte Wilson there. Megan Dixon sort of caught in no woman's land right now, and going to be the one to lead it there is Rebecca Waters. So right now, Mick, as they come around through the 800 metres, I think Georgia Hansen might just try and get to the front of Madeline Murray.
Absolutely. They're on a pace of around 4:15, even a bit under that, which would be PBs for both of the girls. Georgia Hansen, very, very experienced runner, even at the international level, is just sitting on Madeline Murray right there on her shoulder. It is a race of two out the front. Emma Hogan is running a solid race in third position, but as you said, she is in no woman's land right now, Mitch.
Yeah, well, it is really two class athletes right at the front. And as you mentioned, they're going to be going towards, if not a PB, a season's best at least. So right now, I'll tell you what, Georgia Hansen, she is a master tactician. She knows exactly what she's doing on the outside there. She'll have a pace in mind, and she has that 800-metre closing speed as well. So not to take anything away from Madeline Murray, who too has a lot of endurance over this event. But right now, we start to see the game of cat and mouse maybe just become a game of mouse. So right now, Georgia Hansen, she's going to get to the front at the time she wants it the most. Madeline Murray going to have to really dig deep. Charlotte Wilson, the one who's going to make a move there into third position, and behind there, Gemma Maney. Now we start to see Emma Hogan start to slip back a little bit there, but right now it's all Georgia Hansen. 300 metres to go right now, and Georgia Hansen going to try and extend away, but extend not too far because Madeline Murray's going to be on her shoulder. So she's going to be breathing down her neck right now with 200 metres to go. Georgia Hansen, she probably thought she bided her time and waited the best that she could, but 200 metres to go right now. Georgia Hansen, she has a little bit of a challenge here for Madeline Murray, who did a lot of the work early. She's been able to sit back now. She's got 4 metres just separated to the race leader in Georgia Hansen. So Georgia Hansen, she's going to try again to break the spirits of Madeline Murray, but Madeline Murray is not going anywhere. So we head into this home straight. It's Georgia Hansen on the inside. Madeline Murray, she did the work early. She might be able to do the work late. So Madeline Murray just comes booming on the outside right now. She gets pumping, the legs moving. Watch the clock right now, 4:14, 4:15, I think. So Madeline Murray going to win the race. Georgia Hansen going to be outside of PB, but I believe Murray might have just run a 3.2 second PB there maybe. Charlotte Wilson's going to come down and take third. 4:30 was her best. Gemma Maney behind there now is going to be Emma Hogan as we see the rest of our athletes come through now. Rebecca Waters comes through, Dixon, Maladay as well, Condon Gonis, and to Abigail Thomas. But wow, Madeline Murray, well, she did a lot of the work early, Mick, and then was able to just sit behind and run her race to perfection. Absolutely.
That was a race of two almost from the start, and a fair gap to the rest of the field. But the rest of the field all came in around that 4:30 to 4:40 mark, which was around the seed time entered for a lot of the athletes. So plenty of happy women would be leaving the track after this event.
It's just another high-quality women's A 1500 here at the Victorian Milers Club. The second last race of the night, and now we look at the final race of the night, the men's A 1500.
And it's your turn to read out the names, Mitch.
Okay.
Don't mess up any of these names.
Hip number 1, one of my personal favourites, Harrison Carr of Old Scotch. Number 2, Douglas Buckeridge.
Douglas. It doesn't even have a C.
I got so excited. I love seeing Doug's name. Number 3, ready, I'll bring it back. Joe Burgess, unattached. He is from Queensland. Number 4, Matthew Hussey, Western A's. Number 5, Aidan Roberts of Essendon. Number 6, Thomas Thorpe of St Stephen's Harriers. Number 7, Edward Marks of Glen Huntly. Number 8, William Collins of Knox. Number 9, Alex Gruen, Old Melburnians. Number 10, Nath Nation Pierce of Western A's. Number 11, Tim Logan of Diamond Valley. Number 12, Liam Cash and Western A's. Number 13, Nick Baggett, Box Hill. Number 14, Elliot Oh, you want to help me out there? McGoggeran, beautiful, unattached. Number 15, Yuan Chow Louis of Doncaster. Number 16, Edward Bysher of Old Scotch. And who would you pick in this race? We've got a few Victorian champions of this season.
Well, I was saying earlier today, Mitch, Liam Cashin, definitely keep your eye on Liam Cashin. He was injured earlier on in the season, and he's just been improving race by race. Tom Thorpe, of course, he's a new state champion over the 5,000 metres, so he's always one to watch. Matthew Hussey has an unreal kick, and he's certainly not going to let his training partner in Liam Cashin take the win too easily in this one. And Nath Nation Pierce, because he caused an upset. He keeps improving race by race.
Well,
Nath Nation.
He has a lot of tickets on himself right now. If this was a stadium, it would just be filled with Nath Nation. So let's see how Nath goes. To his credit, he's been running incredibly well this season. So I think we're going to see Lockie Hurd lead us out again, maybe as our pacemaker, and taking them up. Geez, it's a Western Age duo.
It is the
with
one,
Matt Hussey and Cashin.
Liam Cashin for mine tonight, Mitch, as I said.
Now, Mick, our old Melburnian athlete as well, is going to be the one to try and bring him back, in Alex Gruen. So we missed his name quite a bit at the Victorian Championships, and he did win himself a state title. So Tim Logan tucked in nicely. Tom Thorpe on the outside there. Look at the class of the back of this field right now. But right now, it's actually Cody Shanahan leading out Matt Hussey and Liam Cashin.
And how fitting as well. The three Western athletes, training partners. I know that Liam led out Cody for one of the Milers Club races earlier in the season. Now he's returning the favour as they go through that first lap in 55 seconds. The pace is on tonight. Is it a time trial or is it a race? It is a race of the three Western Aths boys, or the two Western Aths boys out in front. So is Liam Cashin is my tip tonight. As I said earlier on, Matt Hussey, don't discount his kick, but don't discount any of the other athletes trailing as well. Tim Logan, Tom Thorpe, a swagger of class athletes in the back end of this field. Alex Gruen, the list goes on, but it is all Matt Hussey and Liam Cashin heading for a time. I reckon they're on for almost 3:40 by the time that first lap in 55 seconds. Let's see how they go for the remaining two laps. Tom Thorpe running a strong race. Also, who's that Gold Coast Run Crew boy in Elliot McGoglan? We know we got that name wrong.
I'm not sure right now, but what we have to do is focus on the three at the front. I should say two, but you can't take your eyes off the stride of Cody Shanahan. So they're going to roll through in 157, I believe, through 800 metres. So these boys are certainly on pace to be able to run quick, and it's going to be McGrewen or McGoggeran, however we say his name, who's going to try and bridge that gap back there to Cashin right now. So it'll be really interesting to see how long our pacemaker there and Cody Shanahan can hold on for. Matty Hussey hasn't had to do any work. He's just had to sit behind the stride and don't check it. So Matty Hussey looks really strong. He might be trying to drop off Liam Cashin, I reckon. He might be trying to extend away. McGrewen's going to be the one leading out. Gruen behind him there. Tom Thorpe starts to slip back. Red Lightning there and Aidan Roberts. He's going to try and lead through our man in the fluoro vest. But right now, all your eyes have to be on Matty Hussey. He won the Victorian Mile Championship, Mick. He knows what he's doing, doesn't he?
Absolutely. Is Cody Shanahan just going to hang on for one more lap? Have you ever seen a pacemaker do that as he steps off the track?
2:44.
Hussey, absolutely. Oh, they're quick. They're heading for a time of around 3:40. That would be unbelievable for the likes of Hussey and Cashin. As Elliot McGoran from the Gold Coast Run Crew from Queensland takes the shoulder and well and truly passes the likes of Hussey and Cashin. They are still running a strong race, but Elliot McGoran, thanks for the pronunciation, Tim Crosby from outside our commentary box. McGoran extends his lead by about 5, almost 10 metres on Hussey. Hussey has a massive, massive kick there. We've seen so many times of Victorian athletics. Cashin is just on Hussey's heels. Will Cashin be the one to outkick Hussey this time? But it is Elliot McGoran out the front of the field. Alex Gruen, Tom Thorpe are chasing hard in 4th and 5th, as is Tim Logan. But keep your eyes on the front of the field. Elliot McGoran, he ran a smart race behind the pacemakers, behind the Western Aths boys. Tom Thorpe, huge kick to take second position. 3:43, 3:44 for the leaders there. McGoran, huge kick from Tom Thorpe in the end, Mitch. And Hussey and Cashin, strong runs as well. Can you believe your eyes? I want to rewatch Thorpe's race. I want to just rewatch that last 200 metres from Thorpe.
As is. There's a swagger of
athletes. If you're on the live stream there, just rewind about a minute.
Oh my
Check out Thorpe. Keep your eyes on the red, white and blue from Tom Thorpe. I know he didn't win, But what a massive kick, that last 200 metres, or last 100 metres from Thorpe.
Last 100. As he came around that bend, he was about 10 metres off, and he is absolutely flown. Not to take anything away either from, how did we pronounce the name in the end?
McGoran.
McGoran absolutely just made his move on the back straight. I thought it might have been early. Hussey still looked like he had some spring in his legs, but if he had spring, Tom Thorpe had super boots on. I don't know what was going on there.
Super springs.
I've just never seen him. I've known Thorpe for about 15 years. I've never seen him sprint like that before. So
that's for 1,500 metre sprint as well. It's not like a sprint at the end of a 5K. That's massive. Didn't catch a time of Nave Nation there. I'm curious to check the results there and see what the time of a few other athletes are. We were focused on about the first 5, 6 or 7 athletes in that race. But
I just couldn't believe Tom Thorpe. My goodness.
I need a rest.
What an A race.
What an A race. That was a race.
We
keep talking about races rather than time trials, and that was a race.
That was a race. Wow.
And that does conclude the races for this evening, doesn't it? Someone said cash in, cash in. Cash absolutely is in 4th position. But
Cash in. Cash in on the cash in. Wow.
Well, very good, Mitch. When will I see you next? Box Hill, a couple of weeks.
You'll see me in Box Hill.
So there's the last Milers Club race of this season. It's, it all started here, didn't it?
It all started here.
That was when we had a very, very limited COVID-safe event in Meet 1, and now Meet 5 back at the party house of PBs, Duncan MacKinnon Reserve, and next in a couple of weeks we'll be at the Box Hill Track Classic for the 1,500 metres and 3K races at the home of PBs, Box Hill. So we'll see you then.
Back to the home of PBs. I can't wait, Mick. Always an absolute pleasure. And also to everybody who helps out with the meets, with the streams, everything like that. Parents, athletes, relatives, whoever you are, thank you so much for putting this stuff together. And always a pleasure to be able to call it with you, Mick, and Lockie as well.
Fantastic. Thank you, Mitch. And thank you, Locke. Good night, everyone.
Good night.